go around and just have everyone introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the thick of things. So I'm going to start with our lovely Joe. Why don't you get us started?
Oh, me!
You! Yes, you!
Hi!
Hi.
I don't know that name. Hi, my name is Gnome, and I'm super excited to be here. I'm going to be playing Shreg, the Kobold Warlock.
Lovely. And I defaulted to Facebook. Sorry about that. All right. Jumping over to Mr. Michael Kritz. Why don't you introduce yourself for us?
Hi, Michael Sinclair, the second, and today I'm playing Gervain, who's a human fighter, ghost fighter, and you can find me Michael Kritz on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to jump down to Jesse. Why don't you introduce yourself and who you'll be playing tonight?
Hello, I'm Jesse Neon, and I'm going to be playing Maurice, the Gearforged Cleric.
And moving over, we have Kai. Oh, still muted.
I'm not muted now. I'm Kai, and I'm playing Zero, the Halfling Fighter.
Lovely. And Jim, you're up next.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am Jim, and I'll be playing Slain, the Trollkin Ranger.
Wonderful. And we're going to wrap it up with Torn Pixie.
Hi, I'm Torn Pixie, and I'm going to be playing Eogolith, but we're going with Eowil for short for reasons.
All right, fantastic. Forewarning, it is a hot summer night for a lot of people, so you might be hearing some whirring sounds in the background. It just means that everyone's staying cool, which is awesome. I also have an erotic cat who's trying to pick apart something, so if you're scratching on my side, that's what's happening behind me. It's always fun here. So is everyone ready to get started? I've been looking forward to this. Yes?
Hell
All right,
yeah.
lovely. Awesome. All right, so we're going to get things going. You hear the sound of metal hitting against armor. There's the smell of blood thick in the air. All around you are sounds of screams and cries and growls. Some of them familiar to you, some of them you know you haven't heard before. You find yourself standing in a daze from the last blow that you've just taken, and your mind is extremely muddled. You're trying to make sense of things. The one thing you keep locking onto is this image in your head of this tavern, and sitting at a table with a group of people that you've only just met. You find yourself standing there wondering, how did we get here? What is happening to us? Are we going to make it out of here? And as you find yourself questioning these things, you hear this horrible growl coming from the creature in front of you as it lunges in for an attack. Immediately, you snap yourself back to attention, and the last image you have in your head as you go screaming towards this creature is that of you and your companions sitting at a tavern table. You find yourself walking down the Great Northern Road. It's the end of winter, which means that it's become something of a quagmire, less of a road. You have situations where you've lost a boot or two along the way with just a simple step because the mud is so thick and sticky. Travel is taking far longer than it normally should, and it's the same thing for all travelers on this road. As you make progress, you find yourself growing tired. It's probably mid-afternoon, and you're realizing that as the sun is getting lower in the sky, it's definitely time to start looking for lodging. You've heard of this place before. You've heard good things about it. So you've decided to stop at the Eye of the Forest Coaching Inn. It's about midway along the road. You walk up to it, and you can tell it's been well kept on the outside. There's a large, heavy wooden door. And as you open up this door, this warm glow welcomes you. You can see that there is a fire burning in the back area, and there is this gorgeous, deep wood bar wrapped around one of the corners. The proprietor is standing there, proudly polishing his pewter mugs to make sure they are in the best condition for all of his patrons. And with a smile and a nod of his head, he welcomes you in. You have your pick of where you would like to be seated. So tell me, now that you're in this place of safety and relaxation, What would you like to do?
We're the only ones in here, or there's other patrons?
Why don't you do a perception check?
Let's see. Where is it? Oh, 12.
With that, you can kind of pick up that, yeah, there's a few people that have already kind of made their way. There's a couple sitting at the bar themselves, and they're speaking with a proprietor. You can see that in the back, there's a few more tables, and it looks like one of them is occupied, but you're not really picking up all the little details as to who, what, where, why, and when.
Sure. Myself, Slain would probably, without really, without really telling anyone or thinking about it, probably would head over to a place where you can see the door, stand by the fire, or seat by the fire, and wait quietly.
So as Slane's walking in, what would these people see? Who would they see coming through this door?
So he is a rather tall trollkin with sort of skin that's like the color of old moss on a tree. He's not necessarily like well-weathered, experienced. He actually looks really young, but he is wearing clothes that have seen their days on the road, and he's caked in mud and sweating underneath all the clothes that's where at the end of winter, and is kind of half disrobing as he gets in because it's kind of stuffy. So that's who he is.
All right. And is anyone coming in with you?
Are we traveling still together? Was that the plan?
That is what
That
I thought. Yeah, I didn't want to speak for you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So I think as Slane's kind of like going through and actually like taking the time to find like a well-calculated spot, this little like 2-3 foot patchworked kobold kind of comes like scurrying in behind, and as soon as I think Slane, you kind of determine where you want to sit, Shreg just goes,
"Oh yeah, this is a perfect place," and just kind of like pushes straight past you and hops down and takes the seat. Legs not even able to touch the floor at this point. This is a good spot.
And bringing up the end of the group we have.
And then next you'll see a set of mugs kind of slam on the table, and up pops Zira's head. Zira is a small 3-foot 3-inch halfling, and she has white hair, a scar that runs all the way down her face, and she carries 2 swords. One of them is pretty ornate, and the other is very, very like used, boring sword. And she'll hop into a chair and put her feet on the table. I got you guys a beer. You guys can relax.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, very, very kind of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as this unique trio is getting themselves settled, Gervain, what is it you would be doing with this tavern area?
Yeah, shortly after they walked in, I would be on the outside and seeing them go through a good trio of adventurers. I would follow in behind them, seeing that this is probably a decent tavern/bar to hang out for a bit and maybe learn a little bit more about them. So I'll enter in with my trident that only has 2 points. You see in the people of the trio sitting down, you see a darker skinned, kind of like my complexion, man come in, about 6 foot tall, with dreads tied up in a bun, and he also has furs and leathers on, looking like he's kind of been wandering around just the wilderness, staying off the main paths. And I'll go up to the bar, get my trident, flip it upside down so that the points, the more aggressive end, is on the deck of the ground, and kind of put it against the bar. Speak up to the bartender and say, I'll take your darkest beer, whatever you have."
You're a man of good taste, aren't you then?
Well, the darker beers fill me up for the road ahead. Seems to hold in better.
A traveler as
And-
well, it seems.
Always
And so
gotta
he'll
keep
smile
moving.
at you. He'll smile at you with a knowing nod, and you'll see him turn his back, and he pulls out one of his pewter mugs, and he's going to fill it with the darkest ale he has available. And he'll toss his towel over his shoulder and turn back to you and place it down in front of you and sort of lean his arm down. More wanderer or more adventurer?
More wanderer than anything.
Ah, we've all been there. And he'll stick out his hand, and it's this meaty, thick hand. And you can tell he's definitely experienced holding weapons and things like that. And he holds it out to you. I'm Avrid Blom. I own the place. Well met, sir.
Gervain Showbird, wanderer. And I'm going to just size up the whole bar. Just knowing that I took interest in the trio, seeing what they're up to, but also just sizing up the whole bar in general.
Okay, so let's do an investigation on you, and if you're going to be really looking into things.
Sweet. Here we go. Oof. Just happy to be in the bar.
I think you're tired. I think that road and the wandering around has gotten to you. You're probably just more focused directly on this ale. It smells amazing. It has a nutty, oaky scent to it, and you're just ready to bottoms up with it. So seeing that you're more focused on ale than anything else, Arvid is going to sort of give a little chuckle and go back to his doings and turn himself to the door as he hears it open. And Eowil, what brings you to this tavern? Oh, did I catch you mid-bite?
I'm good. I got it. It's dangers of my schedule. Oh, wow. Far as AOL, I believe Faye was traveling with someone. I thought so anyways. Yeah, because Slane would have found Faye in the forest.
So you're catching up with the trio then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe so. Yeah. I think it's Slane. He's only been a ranger for like, I don't know, D6 days maybe, and so he would have like been walking around like that's maybe how he found Zira and Shreg, even like city folk out here in the woods. I don't want him to get lost. That's maybe what he thinks to himself. So I think maybe we could have, I don't know, met on the road and we'll meet you at the tavern kind of thing.
Yeah, because AOL was lost. So that works.
As she comes in, I'm going to like wave kind of to her nonchalantly, but definitely try to get her attention.
Okay. For those who don't know what AOL looks like, AOL has really bright red hair, really kind of out of place for her race, and then like shimmery kind of golden tone skin, like it's alabaster, but it's got a very, very warm tone to it, and satyr horns, because she does. And then light gray, almost silver eyes. So, and she would see Zira, and she Faye would head on over.
So you're making your way over to your new trio, and there is another seat ready for you. And as you're making your way over, the door is going to swing open one more time, and in walks this rather interesting character, Maurice.
So as the door swings open, at first what's apparent is a large, dust-worn, travel-worn cloak. And the figure beneath it is mostly obscured by either the cloak or a very low-hanging hat. And he kind of steps in, observes through the tavern. He seems satisfied and he nods, takes his hat off and reveals that underneath there's no hair, or skin even. He's actually completely metallic. Where eyes would be, there are instead holes into what looks like an entire silver form. Where a mouth should be, there's just slits in the armor. Pushes the cloak aside, and the same is true for his entire body. He takes the cloak right off, removing the brooch, kind of hangs it on a hook beside the door. And as he does, he kind of stops for a moment. He looks up, as if he's looking at the position of the sun or the moon or some celestial body. He falls down to his knees and he starts to pray. And as he does, his body starts to shift and move, almost like some kind of metallic amorphous construct. And he takes on a much more frightening appearance as some of the plates shift upwards this way and that, becoming more angular, more jagged, more spiky, losing all semblance of humanoid and becoming something that looks almost like an armored knight. He stays still for a few moments, and then he kisses his lips, touches them to his forehead, and stands. He sees an empty spot at the bar beside a fellow drinking a dark beer, and he makes his way over. Pardon me. I can't help but see there's an empty chair here. Don't suppose you'd object to me sitting here with you.
I say, all yours, meta fella, and I basically just show the seat that it's occupied and you may take a seat.
Mighty kind of you. Been walking a long ways, Gets mighty dry out there. Sure is nice to take a seat, have a rest, maybe have a prayer. What say you, friend?
I'm here for the drink, and as long as your prayer is for everyone here in the bar, I have no problems with it.
Oh, the end comes for us all, friend. He kind of taps on the bar.
Hearing the tap.
Oh, yeah, I'll just kind of call the barkeep and see if I can get this metal guy some sort of refreshment.
Yes, Arvid would come back over, and he has a slightly puzzled look on his face as he looks over this new arrival. Can I do something for you, sir?
Oh, if it's not too much trouble, just like to ask if I could borrow a rag or maybe a cloth. A dirty one's fine, no need to tarnish your clean wares. I just like to dust myself off from outside us all.
That shouldn't be an issue at all. And he'll lean down and kind of reach underneath with his right hand, and he just pulls out a simple bar cloth and he'll pass it over to you. Anything else I can do for you? It is so correct.
No, thank you. This is plenty, thank you. Many blessings. May you be one of the last to fall when the end comes for us all. We'll take the cloth.
Right. All right. Should you need anything else, do let me know. Even if it's just in the cloth. I'll get back to it. And he'll kind of like shake his head, and he's sort of muttering to himself, oh, this is a new one. All right, so be it. And he goes back to just sort of wandering back and forth and making sure everything's in order. Leaving it to the two of you to carry on your conversation, or to dust and polish and drink.
I'll dust and polish my drink, get another drink for the barkeep, and then head over to the 4 people of the group who once were a trio, and I'll just kind of park myself over there. I'm kind of weary of Maurice, in a sense.
Maurice is going to watch, but he says nothing, and he just kind of contentedly occupies himself with pushing the cloth through like the different slots and holes in his armor, trying to get out as much dust and sand and dirt as he can.
Shrek, have you ever seen anything like that, Shrek?
Yeah. Look what Shrek sees. And like Shrek is so excited right now, just like
Kind of teetering, like fingers just like tapping against the the table, like kind of like looks back to like Shira and Slain and Aowell and is like,
can I go say hi?
It's just a knight. Like, what do you want to talk to a knight for?
Look.
And like I think Shrek's gonna like just hop down from the normal sized stool or seat and just immediately scamper over to Maurice. I think Gervain kind of like accidentally like bumping into you for a moment and doing like one of those little spins because you're just this tall figure, and Shrek is so tiny, and just beelines towards Maurice.
Slane, I think he's gonna get himself killed.
Yeah. Well, maybe I don't see that. Does he have any weapons on him? I don't know. Maybe he won't fight in the tavern.
No, that metal fellow, he looks okay enough. It's just strange. Doesn't seem like he wants to hurt anyone.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah, for a little bit. He was all about prayers and wishing people good ends. But I don't know to what end.
Well,
Good end.
I'm sure Shrek can take care of himself. Just, he's got full of surprises so far.
I mean, if not, I guess he's gonna be a kobold sandwich.
Yeah, that's not pleasant to think about. Do you think we could go out and spar, like we said, like with the swords? Because and Slane, maybe, I don't know. He's like been staring at the fancy sword that you have, and mostly he seems to want to ask you about it a lot because he thinks you're a great warrior. Maybe you can show me some tips.
I mean, I guess probably not in the bar, but I guess.
I mean, there's a spot across the road. I mean, if you don't mind the mud.
Yeah, I mean, we can, sure.
Slane will finish his drink and kind of awkwardly stand up, and he's like, "Whenever you're ready."
How long have you been doing this for?
I've deer and occasional pig. Like I've fought it. Well, not fought, right? I have I killed him. I just want to know how to use a sword right. And he pats what looks like a machete or something, like a clearly like a farm implement turned sword that he's got.
Okay, well, I guess I could show you a few things. That should be fine.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. And he's like already halfway out the door.
And I'll just, get up, follow him. I'm significantly shorter than him, obviously, so I'll scamper along behind him. And I'll show him a thing or two, but not with the nice sword. It's going to be with the sword that's less fancy.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to accidentally chip it up. That looks like a nice sword right there. Yeah.
It is a nice sword. And I'm going to kind of shove it a little bit further into my, where it's holstered. I don't know what the actual term for that is, but...
So you're securing the nicer sword into your sheath to make sure it stays secure.
Yeah.
All right. And so we have the trollkin and the halfling sparring.
Yeah, and I'm pretty graceful with the swordsmanship. I can hold my own.
Okay, well let's see how this training goes then. I'd like each of you to just do some rolling straight up performance checks.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, performance. All right.
Well, Slane did ask the smaller statured.
He did that on purpose. Like he sort of he wants to get a feel for, what it's like to fight someone who's short, because that's how big goblins are and stuff.
Okay,
that's
great.
in his mind. He would never say it because that's rude.
All right, so
I rolled a natural 20 right off the bat. Oh, are we?
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Wait, hold on.
I have it up there.
You got it.
I got a 50.
I did, but I rolled it on my own dice.
Got him.
But I can roll 20 if you need me to.
I only.
Next one will roll
I'll
to
take.
roll 20. Okay, so
I got a 15.
Okay, so Zira got a 20 and Slane, you got a 15. Zira, what does it look like as you're taking this first maneuver, helping Slane learn how to use these weapons?
I'm just gonna kind of show him how to stand, take a stance, give him some tips on how to hold it, how to swing it, and then, we'll get into defense later, but maybe you should just know how to swing first.
Sure.
I don't know how much you know.
He's got a lot of strength and reach and not a lot of skill. And I don't know, maybe that 20 means that he just takes a swipe and falls flat on his face in the mud or something. as she dances out as well. I don't want to say what your character does, but like he maybe makes
No,
a fool
yeah.
of himself or something.
Wow, I mean, you have
That's good.
potential. You're really strong. You,
Yeah.
yeah. Why don't you stand up and we'll try again?
All right. Okay, second time. All right, here goes.
Yeah. I mean, is our swords your normal thing, or like what's your normal thing?
I mean, I spear is good. You know, you can get like stand far away, poke them.
Okay.
Sometimes you know, like a hoe or something that you take, and if you sharpen it, you can use it, but not a sword, nothing like that. I don't even know where you get one of those things like that. Sorry. I rolled a 13.
Oh, all right. Well, you attack first, and I'll I'll defend. You
Mm-hmm.
maybe this time aim a little bit more, less strength, more aim. Yeah. Does that?
Yeah, he tries. He's got a little form, but not much. It's like I said, I got 13. I don't know what you
He
got.
started taking a little bit of what Zira has to say, which is a good thing. So this time, I have a feeling probably looks a little bit more evenly matched in your maneuvers, a little less falling into the mud.
I feel like it's probably a good swing, and I'll block it and kind of spin out of the way out of it.
Yeah, and Slane's got like crazy reserves of energy, and like in the time you spend with him, he kind of like buzzes and shakes almost when he's just has to sit still. And so he's fine going for like as long as exhaustion will allow. So somebody's gonna have to tell him to stop. But yeah, he's like, "This is great. We can keep doing this every day. It'd be, maybe that other guy in there with the fork would want to spend time with us, spar."
Yeah, he might be able to teach you something I can't. He's more your height, that might work
sure.
a little better.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, you did great. Yeah.
So, would you like to try it one more time, Slane, or do you feel pretty satisfied with the sparring at this point?
Oh, he thinks he's going to pull a trick and like pretend that they're done and then try to get one more in. So yes, and he spins
so you're
on his
trying
heels.
to let's do a
Trying to
deception for
trick her.
you. All right, deception for you, and then Zira, you can do another performance.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Or insight, if you'd rather do insight.
Oh, I will do. I'll do performance because it'll still be a 7.
I got a 13 this time.
Okay, so Slane, what would it look like considering that you've gotten yourself another 13?
So
This
he's
time a
thinking
little bit
like,
better.
yeah. So he's like, this whole time he's been all overextending himself in reach, and he waits until he's close in before he makes his attack, and kind of like has his sword partially drawn, and kind of stops right before he would have hit. Is it Jira? Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, would have stopped like right before and just cracked a big smile on his face that he like got the drop on her. It's like that.
Slane, that was pretty good. I mean, that was great.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
all counts, I guess. This is kind of rude, but it's good.
I mean, at the end of the day, if the enemy's down, then that's all that matters, right?
I mean,
Yeah, that sounds great.
that's true. Except I'm not an enemy, but I mean that works.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
got that's funny. Ha. Yeah, you did good.
And that's great. All right then, well, good talk. And that's all 6'3" of them. All 6'3" of them go back in the tavern. All right.
All right, so as the two of you come back in, we had Shreg making their way over to this rather interesting looking metal man. How would this have been playing out for
So I think Shreg is just going to scamper right up to you, Maurice, and probably take a moment to try to climb up onto the bar stool and just immediately extend his little clawed hand out your way.
Hello, friend. My name is Shreg. It is so nice to meet you. You're beautiful. Gosh.
Maurice is going to look back over and kind of take in your countenance, a little bit surprised to see a tiny little kobold person. But he'll kind of nod and put down the cloth and make sure his hands are clean and then extend a hand for the shake back. It's good to meet you, little fella. You sure are enthusiastic, I can see. What is it I can do for you?
Where are you from?
Well, truth be told, I'm from the Dragon Empire. Just here on a bit of a awareness-raising campaign, I suppose you could say. After all, that's my function. I'm a mobile affiliation unit, recognizing icons of the current era. You can call me Maurice for short.
Oh, Maurice, it is a pleasure to meet you. I'm from the Dragon Empire, too. A while ago.
What a small, beautiful world.
That was home, isn't it? Oh my goodness, you are amazing. I have never seen anything quite like you before, though.
I could say the same, little friend.
You've never seen a kobold?
Not that I can remember, but then again, there was a bit of an issue with the whole new body. It's a long story, friend. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I have all the time in the world.
And I think Shrek is just starry-eyed, staring at you, very eager to hear this long story.
Well, truth be told, it wasn't always like this. I used to be a creature of flesh and blood, much like yourself. Except, more the human variety, you know, less tails and scales. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those, of course. We're all the same. We'll all be wiped out when the star burns into extinction.
You're not wrong on that, but hopefully it won't happen.
And I think Shrek kind of is doing weird calculations on their fingers.
At least not yet. Not yet. Maybe not in this timeline.
No, we've still got some time, that's for sure. Well, at least we'd like to leave so, isn't that right?
Yes, that is.
Well, you see, I was a scholar myself before this all went down. Had a bit of an accident, and, well, suffice to say, I witnessed the glory of the great gods themselves firsthand. I was lucky enough to find myself transposed into a brand new Gearforged body. So now I make sure that I take my time to repay the gods for the kindness they showed me, going out and trying to spread their word to as many people as I can before the sun burns out and extinguishes us all.
Wow. The Great Machine really, really must have a purpose for you then.
I'll be honest, friend, I can't say I know the name of that god.
Oh. Well, not quite a god. You see, it's funny that you mention one god and then multiple gods, because there's probably more like an infinite amount of those, so it just kind of depends on what... It's difficult to explain. Don't worry about it now. Everything's gonna work out great. Let me go introduce you to my friends.
And I think Shrek's gonna try to kind of tug on you a bit and hop down off the bar to bring you back over to the table where AOL is and Gervain are.
Maurice
So we
will
have-
follow, but he weighs about 400 pounds, so your tugging is not going to accomplish a whole lot, but he's still going to follow
No,
at his own
not at
pace.
all.
So basically, we have this kobold fanboying over a Gearforged. And the four of you are going to see this sight coming back towards you. You have this kobold tugging this large fellow behind him. What is going through your heads at this moment, seeing this happen?
I will talk. I've been sitting with Ewell for a bit. Well, I guess that metal guy's alright if he hasn't squished your friend yet. So, I think we're good. My name's Gervain. Who are you?
Well, as I explained to the little friend here, it's probably easiest if you just call me Maurice.
Alright, Maurice. Well, now that I know you're not a threat, have a seat. It's nice to meet some new
thank
people
you.
on the road.
So we have all six of you now sitting around the table, correct? All right.
Thanks, sir.
As you sit down,
Yeah.
a barmaid makes her way over, and she is petite with this long, dark brown hair and wide-set brown eyes. And she has a very generous smile as well as a generous figure. And she comes over with this broad grin and looks at all of you. Is there anything I can get for you tonight? Perhaps something to eat besides the drink? I'm Jalisa, by the way.
Hi. Do you have any chickens?
Darling, I have chickens, we have ham, we have beef, we have soups, we have bread.
2 chickens.
2 chickens. 2
I'll
roasted
take a
chickens.
roasted chicken. I'll take a roasted chicken myself, plee
All right, so we're up to 3 roasted chickens. And for the ladies, does anything sound good for you?
Do you have stew? I really would like some stew.
Oh yes, we have a very lovely stew today. I can get that for you, no problem. Do you want it in a bread bowl or do you want it in a nice porcelain bowl?
I'll take a porcelain bowl.
All right, and the other lady, my dear, what can I get for you?
Oh,
And
you
she'll-
mean
she'll raise
you
her
mean me?
eyebrow at AOL.
You mean me? Sorry. Just some bread and cheese.
Bread and cheese, that's it?
And maybe
Any
some meat.
particular? Meat. Oh, sure.
Nah, nothing particular as far as the bread and cheese. Just
Okay. And all right, 3 roast chicken, the stew and the bread, and for you, little kobold friend.
What is your special?
Well, I like to think I'm the special, but that's up to debate, I suppose. The beef is quite nice tonight.
Hang on. And
Shreg is gonna like pull out their coin purse and like look inside for a moment and kind of like jingle it. Doesn't sound much like coin, but they'll like kind of like reach into it and just kind of like start picking out some like little like, you know, bolts and nails and there's a copper piece, there's another copper piece, and there's another one, and slides the 3 pieces over.
what can I get with that?
How about some boiled vegetables?
That sounds delightful.
All right, then, how do you feel about carrots and celery?
Delicious.
Okay, boiled carrots and celery for our little kobold friend. And, she'll look over at Maurice. Well, you're nice and tall and metal and big. Anything I can do for you?
Well, I suppose since you're offering, if it's not too much trouble, I could use a sprig of thyme, maybe some parsley. And if you happen to have a dead rat anywhere, that'd be great.
Darling, we can get better meat than dead rat, you know.
Oh, no, please. It's not for eating. It's just a little something for helping along the prayers.
You pray to your god with a dead rat?
Well, one of them.
You need more than one rat?
It's complicated, but tell you what, he's gonna fish out 2 silver pieces and put them on the counter. Why don't we not worry about what I do and don't pray to, and upgrade my friend's boiled vegetables with a bit of meat while we're at it, eh?
Oh, sure, that won't be a problem at all. Let me know if there's anything else you should need. I shouldn't take too long. The rats may hold me up slightly, but if you need anything else, just ask for Jalisa. And she'll give this very broad smile over her shoulder and saunter off back towards where probably the kitchen area is. And you'll see Arvid kind of look over and kind of have this slightly puzzled expression on his face, seeing her kind of walking away a little bit more happier than she normally would be after an initial order. So he's just kind of starting to eye the 6 of you up. Nothing suspicious, more like, okay, this is interesting. So basically, you're now waiting for your meal to come to you. What would you like to do at this point as you wait?
Gervain, I think Slane might want to learn how you wield your weapon there.
Oh yeah. That's look. Was that a fork? What is that?
Yeah, it's used for bleeding. It's pretty good at bleeding people from a range, but yeah, I don't mind showing you a little bit of the ropes. I have
throw it?
I can.
Oh yeah, throw it too. Oh wow, so throw it in. So yeah, I'd love to see that. Spear. I've used before. Well, it's called it a spear, but it was really more like a rake that I turned into a spear. But maybe after the chickens. I don't know how you feel about fighting on a full stomach.
Before the chickens, let's go out real quick. Out back.
All right, let's do it for the chickens then. All right. Okay. All right.
You guys aren't leaving me behind. I'm going too.
Okay. All right. Yeah. She's a really good fighter too.
Unless you play a trick.
No, you can come with.
Yeah, no, you can come with. And tricks are okay. We can play tricks on each other when we spar. That's how we win sometimes.
All right, so the 3 of you are going back out to the front area to spar?
Yeah.
Okay, as you're starting to go out the door, do you have your weapons like held in hand, ready to go?
Yeah, my shield and the basically fork on me, yeah.
All right, so Arvid's going to see the 3 of you starting to head towards the front door again with Gervain holding your weapon. Is there an issue that I need to know about going on outside?
No, just some light sparring. Just trying to, help them feel protected on the road. They can, protect themselves. That makes sense.
It makes actually quite a good deal of sense. Let me tell you, if you're looking to practice a little bit, make sure you're staying in condition, go around the corner. I have an area in the back you can make use of where there's less mud and there's actually a dummy set up.
Perfect.
All right. You remind me of me in my finer days. Go. Yeah. I'll have to at least let you know when your food's on the table.
Thank you.
That's great.
So the 3 of you will go back out the front door, and if you sort of aim towards your right and curve back around, there is sort of a little area where you can see he must be doing this as well, because there is a dummy set up, and it's just this nice sandy area set up and ready, and it is closed off so people won't be crossing your path or anything like that. So we can leave the 3 of you kind of getting yourselves settled, but we'll go back to the inside where we have Shreg, Maurice, and AOL sitting at the table still. So AOL, you're sitting here with these 2 characters. What's going through your mind at this moment?
Watching the 2 of them talk and just the animation between the 2, I'm just trying not to laugh because it's adorable.
So then, Shrek, are you still going in your full throttle, oh my god, Mr. Hello mode with Maurice, or have you calmed down a little bit?
Probably calm down a smidge, but I think there's like a good bit of discussion, like seeing as Maurice seems to be really knowledgeable about different religions, and Shreg has a different understanding of religions, and I can just see the 2 of them like kind of just like chittering back and forth to varying levels of excitement.
Okay. So as the 3 of you are sitting...
Maurice wants to know all about this great machine, supposed great machine at least.
Okay. And as the 3 of you are sitting there, you're going to hear from the far corner of the tavern, sort of tucked back across the opposite side of where you're sitting. And it's this screechy little old voice going,
"Oh, the kid, a family man, took the old Margreave's tree. So old Margreave took his family and brought him to his knees. Oh, the kale vengeful man embraced his axe in pain. As it had his heart, he vowed to cut the Margreave in twain."
And if you were to turn and look over in this direction in which you've heard this voice, you'll see sitting at a table by herself this little old woman wrapped in this Merlot red cloak with this massive, crazy tuft of white hair on top of her head. And she's holding this mug of ale, and this mug of ale is her everything. She's smiling and she's smacking her lips, and she gets ready to take a big sip, and you swear you could almost hear the as she swallows down that big first gulp of ale, and then she puts it back on the table and
it's a good one tonight.
And she's just content in her little zone, sipping her ale, and every so often this little sing-songy, screechy voice of hers will pipe up back and forth.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, my little friend, but gonna have to go and talk to that lady over there for a minute. I've heard my fair share of prophecies, and I recognize the cadence, even if it's sing-song and drunk off its butt.
I was thinking the same thing.
I just thought it was a pretty song.
Well, everything sounds pretty, right until the world starts burning. And then Maurice is going to get up and go and talk to her, or make his way towards her at the very least. He'll be very polite about it, though.
Okay.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but overhear what you were singing, and was wondering if perchance you could repeat the bit about the man who cut down the forest.
What man cut down the forest?
Well, it's not atypical for somebody to forget a vision that they'd had or prophecy they'd recited, but it may seem a bit forward, but I could swear I heard something about a metal man cutting down a forest, and as you can see, I happen to be one of those. It's just curious if you could sing me your song again.
I sing a song? Are you man or machine?
A bit of both, if I'm being honest with you. Tell you what, you seem to be a fan of the cups. Nothing wrong with that, of course. What if I were to tell you I'd buy you another pair of those things, provided, of course, you can do me your best job at singing a song that has a metal man in it. What say you?
Oh, I normally just stop at one drink, but two? Oh, sure, it's a party now. Yes, please.
And her feet actually don't touch the bottom. They're kind of like swinging back and forth on the chair, and she's actually kind of getting giddy and like doing this little happy dance as you're saying you're going to be getting her more to drink. So she'll pat the seat next to her.
This should hold you. It looks sturdy enough, I'm hoping.
Maurice will kind of like hold his fingers up and try to get the attention of the bartender before, or sorry, not the bartender, the serving lady before having a seat. And he'll kind of do his best to smile, but his face is mostly rigid plates of metal, so it doesn't really translate very well.
So you'll actually catch a different barmaid. She's tall and very angular looking. She sort of has a scowl on her face, and she'll go, "What you need?"
If it's not too much trouble, if I could get a pair of drinks for my friend here, that'd be great.
You're going to give that one more ale?
Well, we all deserve to have a good time while we can, you know.
You give him more alcohol, you're responsible for the rest of the night.
I suppose I can be amenable to those conditions.
Fine, I'll bring her another cup or two, but she's on your hands now. And she'll walk off in this huff, rather annoyed, and make a beeline towards the bar to make sure she's getting what you've asked for. But you now have this table and this little old lady who's sitting there, and she's actually trying to sort of compose herself and make her hair look more pulled together, but it seems like every single time she touches her hair, it gets more and more fluffed out and frantic looking, but she's suddenly realizing, oh, she has company.
He's gonna kind of reach out and put his hand on her wrist and say, "Oh, no. Don't worry, ma'am. There's no need for that. You're still alive. There's still blood in your veins. That means you're plenty beautiful enough."
Oh, you're a sweetie, aren't you? Okay.
I do what I can, ma'am.
I don't know songs about metal men. I know a song about a man. Is that what you mean?
whatever song it is that happens to be about the man who cut the forests, if you can.
Oh,
Just-
you mean Mikhail? Yes.
Sure.
Yes, old Mikhail. It's just an old little ditty we say around here. I've known it since I was a child. You know, it's oh, it's a word. It's a word I can't remember. It's
Words are tricky.
yes, especially when they run out of your mouth before you're ready to say them. But that's not the oh, it's a legend. It's a legend. It's about how the road got put in, split the Margreave in twain. It's the road. But he was cutting down trees. He ought not cut down the trees.
See, the funny thing about words is they sometimes mean different things in different places. You say Mikhail, that means something different to me than it does to you. That's okay. That's just fine. I'm real interested in that axe.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know if... I mean, I'm sure he had an axe if he was cutting down the trees. I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But I'll tell you what, you've been plenty helpful. You stuck up to your end of the bargain, and I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy what time you have left. He's gonna tap the table and get up and go sit beside Shrek again.
Okay.
And she'll just happily grab her. She's actually going to collect them because they got dropped off. The other two got dropped off. So she's going to pull them into this triangle shape and kind of hug them and smile at you as you walk away. And so you can make your way back over to the table, and we're going to flip over to our outdoor crew out in the training area. So Gervain and Zira and Slane, you have this new little area to work with.
So I go up to the target dummy that they have, and I put hands on it and just feel it out to make sure it's an adequate training target. And then I'll step back to where Slane and Zira is. You guys were talking about tricks earlier. The best, I guess, combat trick is a feint. Act like you're attacking one way, and with that weight and motion, you circle it back another way. That's probably the best trick I can teach you. It'll take out most rookies, take out some not adept fighters, and probably be the best way for you to start learning. Does that sound about right, Zira?
That sounds right to me. I'm a little more direct, but we all can learn different things, right?
Yeah. So, I'm gonna try and attack the training dummy by acting like I'm gonna feint one way, and then I will redirect my fork, essentially drop down with my shield over my head and hit it in the legs, just to show a feint maneuver to Slane. Do you want me to roll to attack this dummy? See how bad I am?
I was just pondering that one. Let's do an athletics for that one.
Sure. Looks like it's a 24.
Yeah, so it looks like you have this lovely, graceful, fluid motion as you're explaining and showing at the same time for Slane to see what it is that you're up to. And your hits mark true on this dummy.
That's really impressive, yeah.
I back off and spin back with a flourish, and I, with my fork pointing towards the dummy, your turn, Slane. Show me what you've learned.
Oh yeah, sure, all right, okay. And he'll kind of go do the same. He pulls out his hunting sword that he's got, and say athletics. Let's see. There you go. I got an unnatural 20. Abomination that it is.
Hey, it's still got a 2 in the front, so that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, right.
So probably you're very much in student mode after your first round of sparring, and you're picking up these motions. And is it as graceful as Gervain? Not quite, but it's still successful in maneuver.
I'll take it. He's very proud of himself.
Gervain, you said that you threw it. Are you gonna throw it too? Are you gonna throw your fork?
If you want to see it, I can do that. And right as I say that, I'm just going to try and chuck it and see what happens.
Okay, in this case, yeah, why don't you roll it and see if it actually hits the dummy.
So a throw, I believe, is using my strength, right? But it should just be my regular attack roll. I just have to be like 20 feet away from it, I think.
Okay.
So-
Well, you have the space for it.
All right.
You're working with about 30 feet worth.
So it looks like about 12.
Okay, a 12 will hit this dummy. I mean, it's a dummy. It's not going anywhere.
Sure.
Maybe not exactly hitting as true to the mark as you hope, but you do make contact at least.
Okay. So yeah, you just see me essentially backing up and lunging, and with the lunge, I throw the spear right at it, and it kind of hits the target. I kind of I'll shake my head a bit. Not as good as I haven't been practicing that move lately, and I grab the fork and rip it out. Is there anything you want to show me, Zira, or Slane, that you're good at, Zira?
Sling, what do you do? Do you want to show us something?
Oh, well, I mean, like, I can shoot a bow pretty well, and, you know, I'm strong, and, you know, I know a lot about, like, trees and plants and herbs and magic and stuff, you know. But, you know, I've not done a lot of fighting training, so I was just hoping to get a little bit in, you know, as I could, you know. I feel like I might need it sometime. It's no big deal, though. Don't worry about it. He seems super awkward.
Zira is going to unsheath both of the swords and, like, not to be outdone at all, wants to run towards it and kind of twirl both the swords around her shoulder, and then both of them at the same time kind of try to pierce, like, the upper chest part.
Okay, let's do acrobatics for that since you're adding some flair into the attack.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
+4, so 20.
Okay, so, you know, dirty 20 is perfectly fine. So, yeah, with this, you're able to show off this lovely, graceful, and determined motion using your two swords and stick it in true where you wanted to for the dummy's shoulders area.
I got a bit excited. Do you think that one of you taller fellows could maybe pull those out for me? Normally they fall when they die.
No,
She's got a good point.
Yeah, Slane was out, like, she hadn't even finished the request, and he's walked over there and started to pull the swords out. He was just, like, instinctively. No, sure.
And I'm going to snatch the one that he's been eyeing quickly out of his hand, and then the less ornate one I'm going to, you know, take second.
And as the three of you are out there showing off your different moves and Slane, you're taking in a lot of what these two are starting to show you. You hear this strident voice shouting towards you from the back area, probably where the kitchen is. Oi, if you want food, get your butt back inside. And you see this very slim, blonde woman glaring at the three of you.
Oh.
I collect my shield and my fork in one hand, and I look back at the Slane and Zira and say, let's go get this chicken.
Yeah. I think I might have got too much, but that's okay. We'll go back inside.
So as the three of you are making your way back inside, Jaleesa's actually made her way back over to the table, and she's got this platter full of everything. All right, so we have our orders ready. Here are the... Oh, we're missing a few. They're coming back, right?
Yeah, they'll be back in a moment.
All right. Well,
I can go get them.
No. You sit tight. And you'll see her kind of lean back, and she'll go, Micah, find the others. And she'll lean back forward. All right. So we have, well, for you have your boiled vegetables and a little extra thank you to your friend. And let's see, the 2 chickens, the stew, and the bread and cheese. And she'll slide that over to AOL. And okay. Oh yes. And Maurice, are you back at the table at this point?
Yeah. As soon as he was finished with the old lady who would have came back.
Okay, so she has left on her platter. She has you can see the sprig of thyme and parsley, correct? As well as a covered lump of something with one of the napkins. All right, so here are the herbs you asked for. And she'll look around just to make sure. And you're in luck. The cat kind of found a nice little something earlier. And she'll lift the napkin, and there are actually 3 dead rats on the platter. I mean, I don't know what your god is, but 3's got to be better than 1, right?
Bless your heart. That's more than I could have asked for. Thank you so much. He's gonna scoop them up into his hands.
All right. Well,
is there a fireplace in the tavern anywhere?
Yeah, there is a fireplace. It's set right towards the back area of where all the seating is, with the tables and the different booths area. So you have the fireplace there, and there's sort of this cast iron stove attached to it, but it's oddly not in use. But it sits there, just sort of open to everyone.
Maurice is gonna kind of discreetly take the rats, so as not to alarm any other patrons. He's gonna kind of look around over his shoulders, and then he's going to lay them out in one of his palms, put all the sprigs of rosemary and thyme in with them, and then under the table he's gonna crush them into a small ball in one of his fists, and then he's gonna walk over to the fire pit and put that fist in the fire and start kind of muttering to himself, filling the tavern with the smell of herbs as he makes this offering of ash.
So, as this is happening, you're going to hear this little chuckle kind of happening off to the side, because you're actually not too far away from the little old lady. And she's gonna look over at you and kind of grinning.
That's one way to make dinner, I suppose. Mine got up and hopped away last night. I couldn't catch it after that.
And she'll go back to drinking her ale.
Maurice is gonna put another coin in front of her and make sure you eat this one instead of drinking it, sweetheart.
She'll bite it.
It's not edible.
No. Next time the barmaid comes around, instead of asking for something to drink, you got to ask for something you can eat, and then give her that one.
Oh, you're a sweet, sweet metal man. Do you eat coins?
I do not.
Okay, so you're not going hungry if I have this then.
That's correct. In fact, if anything, quite the opposite. You're helping me, as I don't need to eat, so that coin's weighing me down. Thank you for taking it.
Oh, this for you, more for me, Jalisa! I want the soup!
And she kind of rocks back in her seat a little bit, and you can just tell, this has made her night. She doesn't have to worry about dinner.
If she's content, then Maurice is going to go off to make his offering of ash to the god of the apocalypse. No big deal.
None at all. None whatsoever.
Yes.
So, Maurice, you're making your offering. Shreg, you are probably starting to tuck in. And the 3 of you are starting to come back in through the front door, and you can see that your meal is on the table, set and ready to go.
Instead of sitting in my chair, I'm going to jump onto the table and cross my legs and put my bowl in my lap and eat at the table. I feel very I want to be eye level with everybody.
I'm getting bad thunderstorms. Consider it ambience if you're hearing that. Hey. So seeing you tuck up on the table, Arvid's actually going to come over, and he's going to bring one of the bar stools, and he'll set it down next to where you have been sitting. If you'd rather use this, the bar stool to get some height, my dear, that way you don't have to worry about sitting on the table.
Yeah, I guess I could use that. I mean, thanks.
No problem at all. Just if you need anything else, let us know. Any drink refreshments for all of you? Anything I can get for you?
I'll get the bottle of mead for you all over here, and whatever dark ale you can get as a pitcher for the group. How much is that going to be?
Oh, don't worry about that. I have a feeling that someone's already been paid a little extra. You're covered.
I appreciate it.
So
Ooh,
he'll
if we're
walk
covered, do you have something sweet?
I have a good cider. It's a little bit sweet since it's a little bit younger. I could get something like that for you if you'd like. The mead is sweeter.
Yes, please.
All right, mead, cider, and the darkest ale. And he'll go over and he'll quickly get that pulled together for you and bring it back. And essentially, they're making sure all your needs are met here at this inn. You can tell that Arvid's sort of taken a special interest in you because of this whole having gone out to spar and practice. For him, he's sort of just smiling at the three of you especially. You can almost see this nostalgic glint in his eye every so often, and he kind of smiles and shakes his head. And as you're eating, you'll see this little old lady sitting in the back, eagerly slurping up the stew from a little bread bowl and happy as can be, and her little legs are kicking and swinging and everything like that. And Jaleesa comes back over. So is everything to your liking?
Oh yeah, it's great.
And the bread and cheese, are you sure that's enough for you, dear? And she'll be looking at Aol. Can we hear you now?
I think she is trying to figure it.
So she'll see you nodding your head and, pantomiming as you have a huge bite of cheese and bread in your mouth, and she'll smile happily. All right, good. And, if you need more, just say the word. And I'm sorry about the meat. I got a little distracted before. And she'll look over at Maurice and kind of give him a little, secretive wink and make her way back out. And you're going to notice at this point that the sun has definitely shifted and it's now set, so it's evening. And there are a few more patrons coming into the tavern, and so it's a little bit more full, and the sound's picking up a little bit. And Arvid will come over and, just so to be fair, there are a lot of travelers and the roads are hideous right now. Have you any intention of staying here for the night? No, not to say that you're pressured to, but I want to be sure that since you came in earlier, that should you need rooms, we have rooms available for you, because people are starting to ask.
I was to sleep outside. Or if there's a barn, give a barn, like a hayloft.
I do have a larger storage area for the wood and things like that. Yes.
Oh, sure, yeah. Animals like.
I'm not charging
Yeah.
you for that.
Oh,
that wouldn't be right.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even want to sleep in a bed because it's weird. It's too soft.
All right. Well,
Sorry,
it's open and welcome to you. What about the rest of you? Would you? The 6 of you could fit out there if you so choose, but I do have warm beds and clean rooms.
Shrek, are we following Slane, or should we maybe get a room? We can even ask if everybody wants to, because I know, we don't have that much money, so maybe we could just have a sleepover or something.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
And I start flipping through my coin purse again and offering whatever I have.
I'm in.
Yeah, that'll be great. So, are the rest of you in?
If you guys are gonna be doing a room, I could probably chip in on that. Otherwise, I've got a 2-person tent.
Me and Shred can fit on pillows, so we could just share.
I'll probably stay with Slane, just so that new companion. And I don't know how much barn sleeping he's done, but I know how to hay up some. I know how to hay up some places that might catch some wind, so keep us warm for the night.
Sounds good.
Shrek, did you talk to that metal guy? Does he sleep?
Oh, no, I don't think they sleep. But I go ask. Hey, Maurice,
And like Shrug kind of just like yells across the way.
Hey, do you want to have a sleepover?
Well, truth be told, I don't need sleep in the traditional sense, but if you got a closet or perhaps a trunk, I can keep watch, have a sit, maybe do some praying, some thinking.
That would be great. We're trying to get enough coin so that we can stay here for the night.
And what, pray tell, happens to be the nightly rate?
Well, Arvid's looking at the six of you rather. You're telling me that you're all going to be sleeping out in the hayloft shed area, correct?
Hey, if you've got no objections.
I haven't any objections as long as you don't object to my charging you for staying out there, because that's not exactly my normal room offering. So
I think
it's dry.
I think we're gonna share one room. I think we're gonna have like a one room. Yeah.
One room. Perfectly fine. It's 2 silver for the night.
I have one.
I'll chip in the other silver. I'll stay with them. That's fine.
All right. So one room. You can pay up in the morning.
Sure.
And the stairs are right over there. And he's pointing almost directly behind your table. There's a set of stairs that just go up, and you can tell there's this balcony area, and you can see there's rooms that loop all around the open walkway area on either side of the stair area. I'll bring the key over for you in just a little bit, but I just want to be sure that you at least were settled before I started giving others rooms as well. Again, just if you need anything further, you may ask me. Jaleesa is there. Mike is also available. Enjoy your dinner. And he'll walk back behind the bar, and you can tell it's picked up a little bit. In fact, there's a younger man who is at the bar now helping out with serving the other patrons. He's tall and lanky. He's got like this ashy blonde hair, and he almost seems like his limbs are a little bit longer than they ought to be, and his eyes are almost this very startling green color. But he's very adept at what he's doing, and he's keeping things in motion. And as Arvid joins him, it's almost like they have this synchronized routine of pulling the tap, handing it over, the other taking their turn and moving around each other without issue. And this little old lady, you're going to hear her loudly finish her dinner because she's smacking her lips and she's slurping that last bit of ale. And she's going to come tootling over to your table, and she's going to walk up to you, Maurice, and she'll kind of pat your shoulder. But because she's a little bit more tipsy and such, it's almost like she's knocking on you.
I am on my way home now, Mr. Metalman.
Do you require an escort of any sort?
No. But you're sweet.
Are you
offer.
certain? It's only right.
I come here every night. I get home every night. And then I come back every night. And then I go home. It's all
Very
good.
well. Well, safe travels to you. And if your end comes tonight, may it come in your sleep. Just gonna pat her on the shoulder.
That's a good way to go. I hear that's the best way to go.
Yeah,
I
that's a
should
pretty good
think
way.
so.
That's a good blessing, Maurice.
All right. Well, you all die nicely in your sleep too. Maybe I'll see you
Thanks.
tomorrow.
And she'll start walking towards the front door. And you can tell she's definitely someone who comes every single night, because you hear people shouting to Mama Rihanna, how are you doing? Hello, Mama, and things like that as she's walking out the door. And she's sort of like waving and patting shoulders. And again, as she gets to the door, she goes,
Night, everybody. Die in your sleep.
and she's got this broad smile on her face as she opens up this door. And it closes behind her.
What a nice lady.
You seem to know a lot of people around here. Maurice, are you from here? Is this your home?
Not at all, friend. I just happen to be one of the more sociable types.
Oh, yeah, I can't really talk to people. It just, it makes me nervous. Anyway, that's great. Where did you get that that blessing? I heard something like that before, but only from one other place. You know,
Well,
you've got to go in the night kind of thing.
it's one of the many credences of the Lord of the Apocalypse, sweet Lord Valus. And he's going to kiss his lips and his forehead and point up at the sky again. May he watch over us until the sun burns out and extinguishes us all. But as for where it originates, it's the same place as I do, Dragon Empire, one of the many temples.
Oh, and the sun's going to burn out?
Well, of course, everything's going to burn out. Eventually, we'll all be nothing but cold and blackness.
Oh, like, why doesn't more people care about that? This seems like a big deal.
It is a big deal, but that's exactly it. It's too big for most people to worry about. People would rather worry about getting food tomorrow, place to sleep tonight, than what's going to happen to us all in a million years.
Slane's going to think about that for like the next 36 hours. Like, just...
I mean, on that end, to be fair, even my people would see many, many generations before that happens.
So nobody's worried about it because it's not happening soon. All right, I'm just curious. You know, I feel like you gotta. There's all these. I don't know. There's all this stuff about the world you gotta figure out, and you seem to know a lot about it. So that's why I asked. You know, that's a cat around here somewhere. You know, pretty crowded.
Yes, there's a tavern cat. It wanders around. It knows to like come up against Shin leg for little bits and scraps, and it's gotten rather persistent lately. And as
I was gonna say, Slane is happy to talk religion for as long as anyone will entertain him. Yeah.
Well, just as you're having this conversation, starting to get more into depth, probably about maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes have passed actually, and you hear this very sharp, shrill scream coming from the back kitchen area, and that narrow, blonde, tall woman comes running out with a look of panic on her face, and she stops near the fireplace, and she's in the middle of the room shouting, "Mama Mariana's in trouble in the back. Something's out there now, trying to get her." And you see Arvid immediately snap to attention, and he looks to the three of you. Care to help me out?
Yeah, I'm already taking off with shield up and the fork in one hand and trying to look back to make sure people are following me and pushing forward through whatever doors I need to get here.
And he'll also look to the other three. The more the merrier, quite frankly. And you'll see him. He's going to basically cut across the first floor of the inn, and he's going to go back through the kitchen door where Micah just came through, and he's running through to get to the back as quickly as possible.
Can we
So
follow
you're more than
him?
welcome to follow. You can absolutely follow him in that direction. In fact, he's almost expecting it.
All right, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Maurice will do the same.
Okay.
Yep. Eogolit's on their heels.
Very great. So, is anyone staying behind? Or are you all going in pursuit? All right. So, as you all get out there, you see Arvid. He's opened up that back kitchen door from where Micah was yelling at the three of you before earlier about dinner, and he's stopped dead in his tracks, and he's actually put his arm out. But you can still see through because this is a wider door. You can tell this is where they bring things in and out for the kitchen. So there's enough room for you all to sort of peek over his shoulder. And you can see standing in the backyard area, you have Mama Mariana, quite happy. And she's sort of standing there doing her hiccuping, but off in the upper right corner area, the northeast area of the backyard, you see that she's sort of waggling her finger and talking to something in the shadows. And she's just sort of like, almost like she's having a conversation with a friend.
It's another pretty little petal. I need one of you in my gardens.
And she starts to move forward another step, and you hear Arvid shout at her, Mariana, don't take another step forward. And you can
How
see
close
the
are we?
Arvid You're probably about 15 feet away from her because she's just made her way around the full circle of the tavern itself. So between her doing that, Tipsy not exactly walking straight, and you're making the beeline, you're about 15 feet away from her. This creature is probably another 35, 40 feet away.
And we can't really tell what it is yet.
It's still it's a little dim in the backyard because the sun has set. She, for some reason, seems to be able to see it, but again, she's a little bit closer. Right now, you can tell there's something because the shadows are moving in just this one spot, and everything else seems to be still.
Okay. Well, Slane's up there in the front with Gervain. I think Slane at least gonna move up to where Mama Rihanna,
Rihanna.
Is that her?
Yep, Rihanna. Yep.
And just like try to get in front of her and see if it doesn't make the situation worse.
Okay.
But that's what.
So you're going to be able to.
Oh, sorry.
What was that? You don't have
Maurice would walk up.
Sorry.
Jim, you go first, and then we'll go to Maurice. We're going to get you both the same
Deal. I'm sorry.
It's all right. That's fine. Every stream has to work it out. I just was making a note that I don't have any of my weapons drawn yet. That he's sort of like
so
ready for action,
you're
but he doesn't know. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got them
all
with
right.
him. He's got them drawn.
Okay, so you're running up to her and standing in front of her. Maurice, what is it you'd like to be doing?
Maurice would walk up and stand directly beside her and put his hand on her shoulder. What is it that you see? I'm afraid that looking into the darkness, I don't see a thing at all.
Ah, the metal man's back. Hello, metal man. Do you like to garden too?
Perhaps. Why don't you tell me what it is we're pruning, and then we can talk about it. And he's going to reach up and kind of like touch a place on his back and pull a mace out of his body.
Okay, so you have your mace pulled and ready at hand. Do any of you have dark vision at this point?
I don't think I do.
Slane does.
I do.
Okay. So, Slane, at this point, you would be able to see this creature. And you can see her pointing, and she's actually talking to Maurice.
You don't prune this time of year. It's the wrong time to pick the petals, the pretty, pretty petals.
And in the distance, you can see, and it's actually starting to emerge a little bit towards you and closer, especially since the mace has been pulled out. This very large plant-like creature. And it has this bright collection of purple petals on the top and these long tendrils coming from it. And it is still in the back area of the yard, but it has definitely now seen this kerfuffle of people coming out. And it stands about the height of a man, and it's about as broad as a well-built man. And it's slowly starting to shuffle its way towards the group. And Mama Rihanna is...
Yeah, I'm going to step, I guess, like 10 feet in front of Mama Rihanna, so that I'm in front of those three individuals with my shield up, and looking towards the back of the group, like Mama Rihanna, and looking at the creature in front, not knowing what the next point of action is, just trying to hold some sort of protective stance for the group.
Sure. So the others, are you still standing in the kitchen doorway with Arvid, or have you moved forward as well?
I think I'd have Shreg move kind of like behind Slane. Slane is very big and tall, but Shreg wants to definitely see what's going on.
Okay, so where you all are standing, this creature's about 30 feet away now entirely, and you're going to hear Arvid sort of quickly shuffle up behind the four of you now. And he has bodily picked up Mama Rihanna. All right, Mama, up and away we go. Let's go back inside. I think you forgot your cake. And you're going to hear her go,
Oh, I forgot my sweeties. Yes, I get my sweeties.
and she's fully distracted. He's able to carry her back inside. She's completely uninjured, but he's going to look over his shoulder at the rest of you and basically say, that needs to be stopped. If we don't get this out of here, I'm worried about the others who might be coming. If you help me with this, everything is covered for the evening.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So then, Zira and AOL, where are you two in all of this?
I'm going to be sitting on the other side of Slain.
Okay. And AOL, where would you like to go in all of this?
Probably behind Zira, since Zira's shorter, and that gives me the ability to do things that I can do without.
Okay, so basically we have a lineup. Perfect. So basically the way you're lined up, we have Maurice, Gervain, Slain, Zira. In the back you have Shreg and AOL, kind of holding up the back behind Slain and Zira. Arvid is back inside with Mama Rihanna. You have this creature in front of you, so let's roll for initiative.
The first initiative roll campaign.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Yes.
My token's not valid.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I didn't click on my token either.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
So
There's no token. That's okay.
there should have been tokens. I'll have to reset that. I'm just getting everyone written down here. All right, and then all right, you guys looked out.
Did you need me to? Did you need me to re-roll? I didn't click on my token, or is it okay the way it is?
It's fine the way it is. It's still rolling up. It's pulling the token fun. So, all right. So you have it. This is the order of operations. Did I get everyone? Hold on here. James Michael. No, I forgot someone. So we have Shreg. You are starting us off at the top. Then it's going to be Slain. Then we have Gervain. Then we have AOL. Then we have Zira. And then we have our lovely creature. Did I get everyone? Or did I forget someone?
Actually, I got jumped. I'm at an 18 initiative.
Okay, so then you are right after Shreg. So Maurice is after Shreg. All right, so Shreg, you are first up. You have this creature in the far northeastern corner of the yard. You are standing pretty much in the southeastern side of things.
Okay.
I think Shreg at first is gonna like kind of peer around Slain and like look up like
Yeah. Okay.
and then like kind of like pull out of their cloak this very weird dodecahedron shape that is kind of like glowing and ticking and whirring, and just kind of like let go when it kind of floats a little bit in its hand, and cast Eldritch Blast at the creature.
Okay, well, let's see what happens with that one. And it
I'll
hits.
take a night. Yeah.
That's a beauty. All right, so
All right.
very nice. So, what does your Eldritch Blast look like as it's shooting from the dodecahedron? Correct? Is that where it's coming
Yeah,
from?
it's like little, again, like very mechanical, ticking, floating orbish thing, and there's almost this like kind of like bluish electric energy that kind of flitters between Shreg's fingertips, as if it's kind of electronically connecting with the little box. And once this energy kind of builds up, it just this straight, very thin, precise line just blasts like straight over into the creature.
Okay, great. And you can see, because of this lighting that's coming towards it from your blast, it lands directly into one of these petals, and the petals is a little bit shredded, and it's not happy, and it actually kind of quakes a little bit, and that then brings us into Maurice. You are up.
How far away from Maurice is it?
About 30 feet.
30 feet? Okay. Maurice is going to switch the mace to the other hand, and he's going to start walking up towards it as he's ranting and raving about the end times and about how the sun is going to burn us all out and will be extinguished. And as he's doing this, lots of the gears on his arms and chest start to spin, and there's like a certain heat that builds up, and that heat kind of takes on a greenish tint, and it spreads to the end of his mace. And right as he gets up point blank to the creature, he's going to say, "It's a shame that you couldn't go in your sleep. You're going to have to go like this." And he's going to bring the mace around and try to swing it with inflict wounds across the face.
Okay. So let's roll for that and see what happens.
Indeed. Let's see if I did this correctly.
I know, it's always funny to get that first go around after loading it in. Okay, that will hit. And what type of damage are we looking at here?
So inflict wounds is going to be 3d10 necrotic damage, but it's only going to be a 7.
Oh, all right. So you see as it marks true this impact, one of the petals starts to almost disintegrate away because of this necrotic damage that you just put upon it. And you're standing right in front of it now, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So Maurice is...
Sorry, one of his arms would have flattened out a little bit as sort of like a shield. That's about it.
Okay. All right. So you're standing pretty much within 10 to like 5 feet, 10 feet?
Within range, 5 feet.
Okay. So, and it is taken on 7 more of damage. Lovely. That then takes us to Slain.
All right, cool. So, Slain, seeing Maurice go up there, will charge sort of right behind him and attack this creature because all he heard was there might be more of them coming. So, yeah, let's see what we got. He draws his sword. That is a 21 to hit.
All right, a 21 will absolutely hit.
And let's see, where's that? It's going to be, looks like 8 damage. Not sure where the 3 is coming from. 8 damage.
Yeah.
Slashing.
Damage? Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you attack this creature with your sword, what does it look like?
So Slane's got this like old hunting sword that's used to like put wounded deer out of their misery, and so it's not a particularly elegant weapon. It's more like a cleaver, and he just like splits it maybe down the vertical stem of the thing. I don't know, tries to at least shear off the limbs and stuff.
Okay, so as you're going to, let's say you're aiming for, it has these tendrils that stick out too, so probably as you're like swinging towards one of these tendrils, the sword does hit true and it does do some damage to it. However, both you and Maurice now need to give me a dexterity save.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 9.
Okay. And Maurice, how did you do with that? We'll take the first one. All right, so as...
Big ol' 4.
So as you're going in with your sword and you cut through a portion of the tendril, this bright electric green ooze starts squirting from the tendril itself, and it's coming towards both you and Maurice as you both will take 2 points each of acid damage.
Oh no.
And then that takes us to Gervain.
I'm gonna run up and right next to Slain and Maurice, and I'm going to, I guess, strike with my fork.
Okay.
That's the only move I got, so we're doing it. All right.
I have the stabby.
That will miss.
Okay.
So I think in the effort to try and strike this creature, but also seeing the acid coming out, you may have what do you think happened there in that case for your?
Yeah. So I come with a flurry of my my fork, just kind of like wafting in the air, and I see this acid spill out and hit Maurice and Slain. And last minute, I kind of pull back, knowing that I prefer to use my fork to kind of pierce and bleed the enemy, and so I kind of think about it last second, hold back, and then just bring up the shield, getting ready to maybe protect my allies once it strikes.
Okay. All right. So we'll go with that one then. Aelil, you are up for this. You have seen this creature take damage, but has also provided damage towards 2 of your companions at this point. And you're probably about, since you're standing in the further back area, you're looking at 35 feet away.
35 feet. Yeah. So I'm gonna do similar to my buddy Shreg here.
Okay. All right, so go for it. Let's see what happens.
Where do I click that? Shouldn't that be on my other bit of my sheet here? Doesn't look like it.
Did not get there.
For whatever reason, it didn't go. So.
All right, so then just you can use the roll 20 dice roller if you want to do that instead, and add in your spell attack to it.
What?
You can use the dice. There's on the upper left-hand corner. There is a menu to describe the D20 logo. If you click on that, you'll see that you have these different options for rolling. If you click on Advanced Dice Roller, it gives you a formula where you can set up what type of dice you need rolled, along with any modifiers you want added into it. And when you hit roll, it does the mathematics for you.
Is that right? I don't think I did that right.
What's your modifier for your spell attack? You can take that and add that in. I mean, you're still going to hit regardless. So your Eldritch Blast will hit.
That's a 5. So that would be 23.
Yeah, you're good. So what does it look like as your Eldritch Blast gets going?
So, Erwell starts waving their hands around and muttering, and as they do so, you see a bunch of little kind of, if lights could be black, it's black lights start forming, and then they coalesce into a beam.
All right, great. So this eerie blackish light, it's emanating from your hands, and it aims true towards the creature, this plant-like creature in front of you. It looks almost like this oversized violet with acid now pouring from it. We just need to get the damage from this. So if you can roll a 1d10, we'll see how much it's taking. Well, it looks
Nice.
impressive. It looks impressive. I think this is probably already one of the tricks of the blast, thanks to Shreg having used it first, and it probably shifted ever so slightly, but you still were able to kind of nick it on one of its petals. So it'll take additional damage with that one. And then that brings us to Zira. You are up.
Since I am so small, I can't make it all the way up to it, but I am going to try to move up and behind Slain, and then to Slain. Way to use that combat training, really great, but maybe work on the defense that we kind of talked about.
Good call. Good call.
All right,
And then
so
I'm
you've
just
got-
going to prepare for any, like, counterattacks, or I think defense. I'm going to use, like, just a defense.
Okay,
for
so you
my
want to hold
turn.
action?
For my action.
Okay. So if you're holding your action, what are you waiting to have happen?
Can I just... I won't hold my action. I don't know what I'm doing. I won't hold my action.
You want to hold your action? So
No.
you want to hold your... You don't. So then do you want to do anything else
Nope,
besides just moving forward? That's it. So,
That's it.
okay. That's perfect. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Then it is this lovely, large, bulbous violet's turn. And it is going to... Well, let's see here. It's going to swing around, and it's going to lock onto Slain, because Slain, you did do some damage towards it. And it is going to whip one of its tendrils out towards you in hopes to hit.
As a reaction, I'm gonna impose disadvantage on it using protection because I'm a fighter. I'm just using that feat, so
Okay.
trying to protect my
Nice.
new ally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to re-roll that since you were saying that and I had just rolled. So re-rolling again to be fair. For some reason, the tendril. All right, so does a 21 hit?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so
Nice.
I need you to
Does
give
a
me
21
a DC 12 to see if you get grappled by this.
All right.
All right. You are taking an additional. Okay, so you are not grappled. You are able to jump out of its ensnaring tendrils, but in process, it has grazed. Let's say it probably grazed your leg, and you take an additional 2 acid damage from it.
can't use my regen. All right, this thing.
And
All right.
that is all it's going to be able to do, which brings us back up and around to the top with Shreg.
I think seeing Selene get hurt, I'm going to close the distance and go ahead and engage with the creature and just pull out my mace and take a swing at it.
Okay, so that's what happens when you go to hit.
Let's see. Yeah.
All right, so you absolutely do hit. 6 bludgeoning. All right, now, Shreg, where just how do you see on things? Because we have this stacked up where it's Gervain, Slain, Maurice, Zira is behind, Slain. So it almost looks like a football setup where it's 3 X's across and an X in the middle behind.
Okay. So I think I will go run underneath Slane's legs and shift over a little closer towards Gervain. And then that's where, like, as I'm like doing that, I'm like two-handed holding on to this mace and just taking a swing at whatever's low near me.
All right, great. So then both you and Gervain now need to do a dex save
All right.
as your mace lands true on this bulbous violet.
Looks like 16 for me.
All right, you make it. All right, so you both make it. You manage to dodge this. As your mace lodges into the side of this creature, when you pull it back again, more of this acid starts shooting forward as if it's directed towards you. And luckily for both of you, because you've seen this before, you managed to miss the jets of acid that were aimed toward you. And now, Maurice, it is your turn.
Well, seeing that it's taken damage and seeing that it's spitting out this acid and that the acid has hurt a few of his friends, he's less concerned with himself and the fact that the companions have taken damage. So Maurice is going to put the mace down at his feet and he's going to lift his hands up over his head and say to the creature, you know, it really was a beautiful day today, like I was saying. And like I said, today is going to be your last. And then he's going to cast Toll the Dead on it. So it needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right, so this is just going to be a straight up 20 because it's not smart.
I was hoping. It was either make it do a whiz save or make it do a charisma save. Hey, that's going to work.
It's not the brightest bulb in the bunch.
So let's see how this goes. It's going to take 4 necrotic damage.
4 necrotic. All right. So as you say these words, it's almost as if your words alone are enough to start withering this creature. And it's actually not looking so great. You see these petals sort of shrinking up upon themselves as if like it was an old decoration that's been trying to dry and it's flaking and it's falling apart. And you see these oozes of acid going down its body in rivulets. And it's starting to slump over as if it almost needs to be watered at this point. You all need to give me a quick perception check while this is happening though.
Perception check.
It's 20 for Slain.
Oof. That's a big old one. Nat 1. I mean 5, but yeah.
7.
21, natty 20.
All right, so Slain and Shreg and Zira, you will notice, along with seeing this creature starting to look extremely poorly, there is another bit of motion happening towards the back area of the yard again. This is more dead center, so it's not quite where you are. It's more towards your left, coming in towards the center of the yard, but also coming in back from where the forest has started up. And it is moving itself forward. So you still have this one bulbous violet in front of you, but there's something else coming through the woods at this point. And
How
now that
far away is it?
that's probably about 15 feet away from where it's coming in. So let's just say dead north it is coming in for you, where you are northeast at this moment.
Okay.
Okay. We'll shout out a warning to everybody else if we can.
Perfect.
And yeah, I don't know how loud it is inside. Like if there's a way to yell loud enough for the innkeep to hear us.
You're probably too far away from being able to hear it at this point because you've been shouting through a kitchen door or the kitchen itself into the front area, so it really wouldn't carry through.
Gotcha.
His main concern was he wanted to take care of Mom, and he was trusting you guys to take care of this situation.
Gotcha. And Maurice, were you done with your round, or is it Slane's turn next?
Nope, that's all I've got.
It's
Okay.
all these. So it's up to you.
Gotcha. So this one still in front of me is alive, and I will attack it. And here we go. That is a 21 to hit,
All right, you absolutely will hit at this point.
and 5 damage.
So what does it look like as you finish off this first creature that's come out of the woods?
So there's all this acid, and every time we hit it, it seems like it sprays out this caustic liquid. So he's at some point kind of just wildly swinging, trying not to get cut, and he kind of like chops the top bloom off of it, and it lands on the ground with a flourish. And if I can, I will use my movement to move in the direction of the motion about 10 feet.
Yes, I'm absolutely fine with you doing that. So you manage to basically decapitate the top of this large violet-looking like flower plant creature, and it falls to the ground lifeless. The acid is no longer glowing this bright green. It's actually almost this greenish ichor color. You can tell that whatever life essence was left to it is now gone. However, Slaying shouting out warning to the rest of you, and now moving over, you can see that there is a second one of these creatures that has come through the forest ready for battle after hearing its companion being attacked. So that now takes us to, let me just quickly roll for the second one. Gervain, okay, you guys like that again. It's same slot. So Gervain, it is your turn now. You have seen Slay the, oh shoot, I can't think of the rest. You've seen Slay the creature, and he's moved over. What would you like to do?
I'm going to run up to the other plant-looking creature with shield up, spear up, basically just trying to do a tactical running, spear forward, kind of like shove going forward to kind of make sure that anyone who comes around me gets close to me. So I'll run up, and as I do that and I get closer, I'm just going to kind of lower my shield down a little bit and jet out with the spear to try and, or trident rather, to try and attack the plant.
Okay. All right, I like how you're flavouring this. So you have your shield up to cover your body as you stab?
Yep.
All right. So let's see if the spear is going to hit.
Alrighty. No.
It will not. All right, so you are now upon it as well. So we have Slain and Gervain.
And then normally when you attack someone else, if they're 5 feet around me, the plant does, I can impose disadvantage. I don't know if you want me to call that before that all happens, so you know it, or call it right when you're...
Yeah, remind me when it comes time for it to go about the disadvantage.
Cool.
And I'll make sure it rolls a disadvantage. Thank you. That's it for you, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's up to you now. You have helped damage this first creature, which is now gone. However, there's a second encroaching into the yard.
Okay, about how far from me?
From where you are standing, you're probably now looking at more of 45 feet away, as opposed to 30 feet initially. Yeah, more towards your left, towards straight north.
I'm not running towards that thing. Could probably hurt
I'm
too.
not calling you the flower.
Yeah, only a flower that I've seen hurt people. Like, you don't
You're
run
crazy?
towards the flower. Yeah. So Faye's gonna do another Eldritch Blast. So when the last one failed, would have kind of pulled Fair hand into fist, and then with the other hand would have started casting another one soon as Faye saw the other one. And so with the other hand, same thing, just a bunch of black lights that coalesce into a beam.
Alright, let's see if it strikes true then.
And that is... no, that was wrong. That was wrong.
That's okay. I mean, it's cool.
Hot diggity!
There's a
What
nut in there.
patron do you follow? I want to switch.
You know, it's that, you know,
Oh,
different
hold on.
It's okay. The joys of Roll20. Oh.
No, that wasn't right either.
What did
That is
you do?
your modifier is a 5, you said?
D20, yeah, 1d20 plus 5, there.
Okay, there you go. So you got a 13.
Okay.
All
And
right,
then,
so So you still hit. So what does it look like as this Eldritch Blast from you hits?
I think we did the description on casting, so...
But on the hit, what does it look like when it hits it?
So it hits, and you can kind of see impact, and it just... like a black crackling energy kind of spreads around the creature.
All right, very cool. And let's see what the damage is going to be for that then, if we need a 1d10, I believe. Ooh, nice. Okay, so striking true and hitting well. It has now taken on some damage, and that brings us to Zira. You are up. You are standing in front of this dead creature. You have slain and driven move over.
How far away am I? Am I within 25 feet?
You definitely are, yes.
Okay. I want to run towards it and take my short sword and try to... Is it roots or feet, or what is it walking on?
It has like this tendril built to it, so it's almost sort of like a land-living octopus is a good way to describe it. It's got thicker tendrils that would work as feet to help it move, and it's got thinner ones that would act as the arms with a large claw.
I want to raise my sword over my head and like try to pierce through one of the tendrils to keep it from moving any further forward towards the tavern.
I like this idea. Let's roll to see if you get the attack first.
Okay.
And then we'll see how we can flavor this with the dice.
Cool.
All right, so you do try, and unfortunately, you are not able to make full contact. It sees you coming and quickly pulls its tendril back right at the last minute before you were able to lodge your sword deep into its tendril to lodge it down. And now that takes us to this fellow is up. So again, it is going to get itself pulled together, and it is actually going to head towards Gervain at this point, and it's going to reach out towards you to try and get you, however, at disadvantage, right? Not for you? Yes? Okay. I'm trying to read your lips because you're muted.
Oh, no, yeah. So protection doesn't work for me. It works for everyone else, so it's just a straight roll towards me.
Okay. All right. So it's going to do a straight roll up, maybe. There we go. So 20.
Mhm.
All right.
That
so let's
hits.
see if that hits. So let's see if you can do the grapple avoidance. Give me a DC.
Oh, yeah. Which one was it again? Is it
That's
athletics?
Give me a strength.
Oh, just a general strength? Okay.
Yeah. Strength
There we
save
go.
against it.
23?
Yeah, you're fine. So you do manage to dodge out of it. Once again, its tendril tries to grasp you. It's not able to wrap around and get a full hold on you. You're only going to take the 2 acid damage.
Got it.
Okay, and now we are back up to the top with Sorry, I was just reading something in the chat. I got distracted. So Shreg, we're back up to you.
You're all along.
Totally
here. I've been here the whole time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, honey.
So cool. So Shreg is going to set the mace aside and again let the little dodecahedron kind of float in front of them and cast Eldritch Blast from where they were standing. Definitely does not want to get close to this creature, having learned the acid. So, no thank you. That'll be an 18.
And you'll absolutely hit. So let's see what the damage is for this thing. Okay. All right. So once again, you have it coming from the dodecahedron again. Same type of style, flavor, and everything like that.
Yep. Nope.
All right.
Nothing different. Pretty close.
Perfect. So again, it's getting into one of those petals, and the petal's not looking so good. The creature itself, however, it is not happy. But luckily for your friends, it is not spraying acid on them. So then it's going to move us to Maurice.
So Maurice is going to see that Gervain's up in front of this thing, and he's going to kind of do like some quick battlefield calculations, and parts of him are going to start whirring and spinning, and he's going to start glowing brighter and brighter, sort of like an orangish red, and then that light is just going to shoot up into the sky and then kind of arc down and land on top of the plant thing like a mortar fire. And that is going to be Sacred Flame. So it's going to need to do a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Let's see. We got to do that. I mean, it's got a little bit. It's got a 17.
That's enough.
Ooh.
Okay. So it manages to dodge Sacred Flame, surprisingly.
Maurice is then going to run up and stand beside Gervain. I'll fight beside you, friend. Let's take this thing down.
Okay, so Maurice has been moved. And now we are over to Slain.
All right. So,
See here.
Am I-
Yeah, no one's flanking yet. You have all your friends side by side, but we have no flanking.
Gotcha. Well, if there is a way to move without, like, exposing myself to danger, as it were, then he might try to do that. He might, it's another trick he could pull. But if there's not, I will just attack.
Considering it was just trying to dodge out of the way of a Sacred Flame, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. And then he will move into a bit more advantageous position and
Okay.
attack.
Okay. So if you move towards your right, another 10 feet, you definitely be flanking with Gervain.
Sounds great. Yeah, that'll
Okay.
flank with Jermaine then. And here we go. Let's see.
Nice.
The advantage is 18, and
So you hit.
here we go. 9 damage slashing.
Okay, so once again, you manage to sink your sword into this creature. About where are you trying to hit it? What's your aim?
I think he's trying to go for another. Seeing like where Zero is trying to attack, like the tendrils. He might try to do similar, and it's just he doesn't have a elegant stabbing sword. He has a chopper, and so maybe just goes right through it.
All right, so as you make contact, again, you're going to have to make this dodge to be sure that you have avoided its lovely little tendency to squirt acid when injured.
Oh my goodness!
Myself as well, right?
No, actually, because he's on the other side, it's not in the same zone as you.
22 this time.
All right, so you manage to dodge, and you do not get any acid damage after doing some serious damage to this bulbous violet. And now we are to Gervain, so you get advantage because of the fact that Slain is now flanking with you.
Thanks, Slane. I will go ahead and do the same maneuver. Instead of striking up with my shield, I'm going to keep my shield up and try and strike going down.
Okay.
See if that helps me. So swing at one of its roots
Sure.
with
hey.
advantage. Yeah, that hits.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, we're doing a thing.
It's a
All
thing.
right.
It's a happening. If you just
Wait a
click,
minute.
Click the word trident where it just had the 23. See
Uh-huh.
this trident? You click on that and it'll do the damage.
I did click. Oh, I see.
There you go.
Alright.
Okay, so cool. You got 3 piercing. Again, you're going to need to do, since you've made contact and you have pierced it, you will need to do a DC dex save. Okay.
Yep.
Lovely. So you're picking up on the ways of these creatures as well, so you're able to stab and quickly get your shield down right away before any of the spray even makes contact with you. So you're golden in this case. This is not a very happy plant anymore. It is starting to look frayed. It is starting to look wilted. Again, this acid is starting to come out from its injuries and it's rolling down its body. And that takes us to Eowel. You are up.
All right, so it hasn't gotten any closer, correct?
It hasn't had a chance to, sure.
Okay.
So it's still about that 45 away from you.
All right. So as she had finished with the last one, she would have started casting another Eldritch Blast, seeing that it was still standing.
Okay. So-
maybe feeling a little tired.
Okay, so you're trying. I think it's probably you have a lot of people crowded around this plant as well, so your vision isn't as quite open and clear for you to see where you can aim true on this. So you do try to, but it actually grazes just over the top of it and doesn't quite make contact. Zira, we are to you. It is your
I
turn now.
want to try to. I'm going to try to just pierce it and leave my sword in to try to avoid it from spitting out poison or toxic material
Okay.
out.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so make an attack.
17.
Let's see what the damage. Whoopsie.
All I have to do is hit that damage part, right? And it should
Just
do
hit the word short sword underneath the 17.
It keeps rolling the same thing. One.
Let me see if let me try for you. Hold on. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
There. Very nice.
There we go. There we go.
Here you go. You've got an 8 piercing on this, and you're choosing to. You're not pulling out. You're keeping this stuck into the tendril.
Yep.
So I'm going to allow this if you're fine with keeping Zira standing there holding the sword in place up against this creature, not able to move.
Sounds good.
If that's good for you. Okay.
Yep.
So it's now
Cool.
taken on that much more damage, and after Zira has made this move, it definitely does not have the strength to keep itself moving forward or using the tendril that has now been pierced down by Zira. So it is its turn. So it is actually going to try to. I'm going to have it do a strength and see if it can put the tendril away. Let's flavor it this way. And it does manage to pull the tendril back, but it's got this tendril still kind of stuck. So it's moving back, but the tendril is stuck. So it's stepped away from you. It's probably about another 5 feet back from each of you. It can't go too much further. It is in retreat, though. And that's going to bring us up to the top of the Shreg.
Shreg is gonna go ahead and really not because it's still dangerous over there. With the floating dodecahedron again, another Eldritch Blast.
Beautiful.
Nice and predictable, but with a 10 this time.
All right. So even though you were trying to palliate some of the situation because it's got this motion of trying to move back now, it doesn't quite hit as you had hoped. That brings us to Maurice. You are up now. It's not in full retreat. It can't be because of how Zira is holding its wind tendril down.
Okay.
But it's definitely not looking too wonderful. The petals are far more dull. They're no longer bright, vivid purple. They look almost black. And its acid that is oozing out from previous injuries has gone from that bright electric green to a more dull green.
And it's looking pretty poorly, yeah?
It's looking beat up. You can tell it's not happy. You can
Okay.
tell it's not having fun anymore.
Is anybody still adjacent to it?
You have Gervain standing next to you towards your right, and you have
That's right.
Slain.
And then Slain on the other side. Okay.
45
Would it be possible for me to kind of sidestep to get flanking?
With the position, not really. Someone else is on the other side, and we don't have that.
Then what I will do is, seeing my two companions kind of doing a pretty good job of back and forthing on the thing, Maurice is just going to start making like a grinding sound, and he's going to kind of start heating up visibly, waves of smoke and steam kind of dissipating off the top of his form. And he's going to look at the plant thing and say, "Sorry, friend, the sun's going to burn us all out, but it's going to be me that's going to try to burn you out." And then he's going to use Word of Radiance and try to incinerate the thing. So it needs to do a Constitution saving throw.
All right, let's see what we can get from that then. It's got a little, not much. We'll see.
12 is not enough.
All right, so let's see what happens here.
That's a pitiful amount of damage. But it's going to take two. It's going to take 2 radiant damage.
Okay, so as this radiant damage hits upon this bulbous violet, it's almost as if it's shrinking because of the desiccation from this burst of radiant energy to itself. And it's still there. It's really not looking fantastic at all. Slain, or no.
Wow.
Yes, Slain, as we get to you.
Wow. All right. We've been wailing on this thing. I feel sorry for this thing for just like a half second. And Slain will.
Slate.
Let's do it. and he's going to, let's see, I don't know, 11 is what I got, and that's the highest with advantage.
You're right. So that's actually going to just miss. Shoot. Gervain, however, you are up next, and you do have advantage because you two are still flanking.
All right, I look over at Zira. I'm like, solid move. I'll take your cue, and I'll flip over my trident and then slam it down to catch a root right next to where she hasn't planted, like kind of just trailing it. So there's multiple weapons that are pinning it down, at least one segment of its root. And I'll try and do the same thing. Okay. Please hit. Yeah! I think that hits.
Let's see.
Alright. And then I'll see how much damage it is. So 5 damage.
Tell me how you finished off the second Bulbous Violet.
Yeah, I take a cue from Zira and I basically nod my head down over to her, like in acknowledgement. I flip over the trident, pierce it down, and I basically hear it squealing, and from that point, I will just try and kick it off some, like, tactical thing to snap its tentacle off and kind of, like, kick it 2 or 3 feet away from us.
Okay, great. This thing has been so depleted and so injured, it's almost as if it's relieved just to finally have it ended, and it falls away from the 2 pierced tendrils, and it's almost like, a mini timber effect. So its body slams onto the ground. There's a slight puff of dust from the soil that's coming up from underneath the area of the forest, and it's lying there lifeless, again devoid of its bright colors it initially had, and it's now very quiet. And suddenly it's back to just hearing the night sounds in the forest. You're going to hear some crickets, you're going to hear maybe the odd hooting of an owl, but clearly it was just this pair that had come along seeking out a nice little treat or a midnight snack, but that's not happening now.
I'm going to get my weapon and basically nod over to Zira and Slane and kind of put my weapon forward to kind of like touch weapons in some sort of camaraderie of taking out this creature together after we've been training and practicing.
Yeah, it's a good fight. So, does Slane recognize these creatures at all? Like, I mean, are they native to the Margreave, or are they just like something weird?
If you want to give me a nature check, let's go with that. Or, we'll stick with nature.
Nature, okay. Let's see. I was gonna say, like, if I could, like, I don't even know if I have nature. I have Arcana is the one what I've got for my background. Arcana or Survival are my 2 sort of identifying skills. But
how about Survival? We'll go with Survival.
Survival.
Yeah, I'm happy with Survival.
This one's 12. Although if it's related, well, I would have got a 9 anyway, so I got 12. Never mind.
Yeah. So you've heard that there are plants that act almost more like animals in the Margreave. That it's not just sun and water that they like to survive upon. It's oftentimes you hear stories of, people being pulled into the forest, never to be seen again, in the embrace of the tendrils of what look like plants. But you've never seen something like this up close and personal. However, you're thinking between the acid and the fact these tendrils kept trying to grab at you, you're starting to kind of put 2 and 2 together between the legends you were hearing as a child and what you're seeing in front of you right now.
Well, we got to know if there's more than just 2 of them, though, because there could be others sitting out there. Slane is going to spend a moment in just sort of reflection as he attunes himself to the Shadow Realm, and we'll give him. I'm going to use my Spirit Whisper's ability to give myself advantage on ability check or saving throw, and he wants to use it to counteract the effects of the darkness, so that he doesn't have disadvantage on his dark vision, and wants to scout around the woods.
Okay, so you want to do an investigation?
Investigate whatever. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, let's do an investigation and see how you do with that.
All right, he slinks. I'll be right back. Just we'll wait here. Don't bring any fire or anything. So too bright. And here we go. 10.
All right, so as you're tapping into this shadow realm and looking for guidance, you just get this very brief word, and it just says settle. A very, very faint whisper.
Settle. Like as a suggestion or a command?
Advice.
Advice. They'll come back after a few minutes, and I didn't see anything. If anybody else wants to go out there and look, I'll watch your back, but I didn't see anything.
No, I think we should get Maurice to speak to Mama Rihanna. Looked like you were in good rapport with her, and she was out here talking to them. Maybe you can get some more information from Mama Rihanna. As I look and talk over to Maurice.
Wow.
Zira's gonna pick up one of those severed off tendril things and go up behind Slane to get him back for earlier and try to wiggle it near his ear to scare him.
Please tell me there's some acid that jiggles out.
It's the only thing that'll leave a scar on me.
Zero, let's see if you're able to do this.
Actually, it's really funny though because he likes that kind of thing.
If you want to have that happen, then we can absolutely get the roll and there you go. Okay.
What, you want me to roll for it?
No, he's.
Oh, just have it. Okay.
Yep, we're good with the role playing it out.
Got you.
Does any acid jiggle out just a tiny bit? Okay.
Of course, it's at this point.
Stings a little. Slane is he appreciates a good joke. That's a good one, Kira. Zero. Yeah. Are the flowers particularly useful? Like, just looking at them, does it look like they might be? Who knows, right?
No, at this point, it's basically just it could be compost at this point.
I see. Oh, there must be some kind of mutant flower then. He's satisfied to go inside if we're heading in there to look at Mama Rihanna or talk to her.
All right, so you're more than welcome to go back through that kitchen door. It actually is very easy to take it on and just walk on through.
Gervain, that was fancy stuff you did with that shield. Maybe you could give it a try sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to show you. It's something that's kept me alive in the wild, and sometimes just a crafty shield is what you need. You're welcome to borrow it sometime. I'm pretty good with just the spear if need be. If you want to borrow it for some of our fights or something that we come up against later or just to train, be my guest.
Sure, can I try it now?
Yeah, and I just kind of casually toss it over to you.
And I imagine it's immensely too big for me, and I just kind of collapse underneath it. I think maybe I need a different one, a slightly smaller one. Could you help me up?
Yeah. I pick up the shield by the top of it and kind of lift her up a little bit with the shield. I didn't know how strong you are. You look pretty strong in battle, so I made an assumption. Wrong assumption. We'll find you maybe a smaller shield at some point.
I mean, that's probably a better idea.
But I like the moves that you had in battle, and that helped me finish that creature off, and respect to you.
Oh, thanks.
While Gervain and Zira are doing that, Maurice would try to drag the two bodies kind of close together and give them a really good look. Sure is strange. Spend a night in a tavern, a bunch of strangers get brought together under mysterious circumstances. Hear a song about some kind of legends. All of a sudden, legends start appearing. Sure is strange. And then he's gonna whirl up his sacred flame and set the bodies on fire.
All right. I mean, they're not going anywhere. So basically, you've just created a nice little bonfire in the back, and they're chugging along, but they're definitely dead. So you all make your way back into the tavern then, through the kitchen and through the back door?
Yep.
Okay. So who'd be going in first?
I think it was Slane leading the way, yeah?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay. All right. So, Slane, you lead the group in, and you're going to see, as you walk in, Arvid is basically standing next to Mama Rihanna, and she is happily sitting there. I mean, I think her feet are probably going to send her propelling across the floor at this point in her chair, as she's sitting there and she's eating this large piece of cake, and she's got this fun little dance to it, and she's smacking her lips, and he's sort of like patting her back in relief, but he's also constantly, big thunder boom, constantly looking up towards the back door area with concern. And as soon as he sees you walk in, this look of relief comes upon his face. Did you all make it out okay?
Nothing if you, nothing night's rest wouldn't help. But yeah, we're all good. We're fine. Just 2 of them we found. No others out there.
I very much appreciate your assistance with this. I would hate to think what would have happened to her if we hadn't have gotten there in time.
What would have happened to her? Pretty bad. It's got acid in it, I guess. Sorry, it's the wrong time to ask that. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. Would you mind just describing what you saw? Because sometimes you never know what the forest likes to spring upon us.
Oh yeah, it was about yay big, sort of purpley kind of flower thing, tendrils and acid sap in it, and when we poked it, cut it, it'd spray everywhere and try to grab our ankles.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yes, they're wonderful. The bulbous violets in the future, they tend to like to eat more meaty creations. Be careful with them, but clearly, if you said you just took care of 2 of them.
Well, not just me. I had some help. Not just me. I don't want to give a false impression. Help.
And he'll look over your shoulder at the others coming in. Needless to say that this evening is completely on me. There is no way I am going to charge you for your meal and drinks and for room, because I am sorry, but you are staying here in the inn tonight. There is no way I am allowing you to stay outside. I want to be sure you all get a good night's rest after this ordeal.
I'm gonna go to that barkeep and can I get a glass of milk for Mama Rihanna? And I'll take a seat right next to Mama Rihanna.
He'll look at you and kind of have a smirk on his face. I think you're a good one. And he'll shove a glass of milk over towards you.
I'll take a seat next to Mama Rihanna. You might need a glass of milk to wash all that cake down. And were you able to talk to those creatures out there? It seems like you were having some sort of a conversation with them when we happened upon you.
I got to see a pretty flower, and I'm having cake. And it's good.
Did the pretty flower say anything back to you?
No, I just like pretty flowers, and they were big ones. The bigger the better, right?
Yeah. Well, a big flower for a beautiful lady like you, I guess it all makes sense.
Oh, you're a charmer.
And she's going to waggle her fork, which still has a whole bunch of frosting on it, at you. Like,
You're a sweet talker. Oh, sweet talker, sweet, huh? Yes. Ooh, milk.
and she'll plunk the fork down and grab the glass of milk, and she'll start chugging it back.
I want to go back to the group, and I thought we'd be able to get more information out of her from... Seemed like she was actually communicating with her. I don't know. Maurice, what do you think? You were speaking to her for a bit. Seems like she maybe has a way with speaking to ethereal things that aren't all there.
Truth be told, I think not quite all there is the right way to put it. Except, and I mean in that there's something more than we're seeing transpiring, as opposed to saying that she's deficient in any way. Not quite sure what to make of it, but there's something afoot.
Hearing your voice, Maurice, she's going to perk up and she's got her fork in one hand and the glass in the other. And she's going to pound them on the table.
My gentlemen!
Oh, hello, sweetheart. How are you doing? See, you got a big old plate of cake there.
They gave me cake, and they gave me milk.
Well, you deserve both of them. Is there anything else I can get you, dear?
Another mug of ale?
And you see Arvid just like shaking his head like, nope, nope, nope. She's cut, she's done, nope. Because he's standing right behind her out of her eye shot.
Tell you what, instead of getting you 1 glass of ale today, what if I bought you 3 tomorrow in exchange for telling us anything you might know about these plant people? For example, you ever seen pretty flowers like that before tonight? Do you expect to see any more of them anytime soon?
I like your math, middleman!
Well,
It's a deal!
Always was my strong suit.
Ah,
And she's going to look up at Arvid.
I get 3 tomorrow!
And he's just shaking his head and he kind of sighs. Right. Please do come and sit down. Let me get you all a drink. I'll make sure everything is set up for you. And get everything squared away from this evening. Again, I don't think I could thank you enough for helping me tonight. She's our little treasure, Mama Rihanna. She's also a handful, as I'm sure you're being able to surmise. But by all means...
Well, when it comes to treasure, it's better to have a handful than just a few pieces. Isn't that right, Mama?
I got cake!
And as Arvid is heading back towards the bar to basically get some more mead and some more dark ale and some more general ale for you, you're going to see the front door of the tavern swing open. And it's night out, so you see this man kind of come in, and he almost fills up the whole doorway. And the best way to describe him is dark. Everything is dark. He's got this dark cloak on. He's got this dark hair, and it's sort of brushed back from his head almost in a rakish way as if he doesn't even care. He's got some stubble upon his face. It's not quite a full beard, but you can tell this is a man who, it's like he'll get to it when he gets to it type of thing. And he has these very dark, piercing onyx-colored eyes and this furrowed brow as he's walking in, and you can tell he seems a little bit distracted. But as soon as he looks up and sees Arvid, he almost seems to perk up a little bit. And you'll notice that he goes over to Arvid, and Arvid, with his bright shock of red hair leaning in towards this man with his dark, inky black hair, it's almost like you're looking at night and day put together, and they're discussing things, and you see that Arvid is motioning over towards you and nodding his head, and you see this other gentleman start, kind of leaning in further, and he's actually got his hands on the bar, and he's almost not clenching the bar, but you can see that the more information he's getting, the more he's almost grasping the bar, not to immediately run away and head towards your direction as he's getting more information from Arvid. And then you'll see Arvid kind of pat the bar top, and this gentleman kind of nods his head, and he's going to look up at all 6 of you, and he just sort of strokes his hand down across the stubble, and he's going to tilt it a little bit. And he'll look over to Arvid one more time and kind of give one short, hurt nod. And he starts walking over to the 6 of you. So, my friend Arvid, he tells me you were something of heroes tonight for our dear mama. And he juts his chin over to where she is sitting there, and somehow she's gotten a second fork, so now she's actually double forking it. Is this true?
Yeah, we helped her out and also tried to protect the bar, the patrons. It seems like she can get herself in quite a bit of trouble.
She is trouble. It's just a matter of keeping other trouble away from Mama. Do you mind if I have a seat?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Looks like what you have.
I just slide over my glass over to him.
He'll pick it up and quirk an eyebrow, and he'll sling it back, no problem, and he puts it down, and it's actually empty at this point. It seems that, I've been looking for quite a while, and the fates are finally smiling upon me. Forgive me. I'm Ryurek Veznietsky. And I have been in search of some additional help. Adventurers, fighters, heroes, to assist me with my brother and his family. And from what I hear...
Oh, go ahead.
Tonight? Not tonight, no. But something, let's say, is a little bit of a more long-term situation.
Can I tell if he's tense or like lying or like
If you
what
wanna
his
do-
deal is?
Absolutely. An insight check on him if you'd like.
Okay.
I'd like to as well.
Sure. Whoever wants to do an insight check on Ryurek, go for it.
Oof. Looks like a dark, tall glass of Handsome. I don't know.
You're probably still amazed that he took this mug of ale and just down it went.
Respect.
Yeah, exactly. You're impressed, like, dude, that's a trick. Slane, you're looking at this man and you're seeing he's looking a little tired. But you kind of get this sense of almost anticipated relief, if that makes sense. It's as if sitting here speaking with you is already starting to release a burden on his shoulder.
Gotcha.
So you're not getting anything that seems untoward. He's truly looking for assistance.
Cool. Well, I like to think of myself as someone who, like, helps other people, a good person, kind of thing. So I'd be happy to help you. And you're your brother's family. What's wrong with them?
It's a long story, but my brother, much to his credit, has always wanted to make a better man of himself for his wife and children. And in our youth, he always swore that he would make things better, make things more easy for us. And he somehow got it into his head that coming here to the Margreave Forest was going to be our answer. And he has tried to set up a nice little estate for his family, and myself included. And the greatest concern right now is that we are worried that there is something else out there coming after the family that is not happy with us, because he is starting to make something of a profit. But if you ask me, money is not everything when it comes to family.
Well, certainly not. You could really upset a lot of the creatures around here if you're trying to take advantage of them and everything. So, yeah, we'd be happy to help look into your brother's estate. Sure. And he just assumes for everybody without thinking about it.
That would be greatly appreciated, however. And Ryurek will look at everyone else. I understand that everyone has their own free will and wishes to make their own decisions, so...
I know. If I'm here, it must be to help you.
All right. And your name, if you do not mind. And I'm sorry, your name too.
I'm Slane. This is Shreg. You can introduce yourself.
I'm Shreg.
Hello, Shreg. Hello, Slane. And he'll look at you, Maurice, and I haven't seen one of you in a while.
What? Haven't seen a pious man, Mr. Vasinsky? Surely we aren't all that rare.
Pious, dime a dozen. Metal, different story.
I suppose
Offer
it's
is
fair
standing
enough.
for you. Offer
Well, I'll tell you
stand
what. If my friends are signing up to help you out, I'm on board too. But if you don't mind me saying, forgive my purveyance. Looks like you've seen some shit, Mr. Vasinsky. Perhaps you can elaborate on what's going on in that forest of yours.
Perhaps this is a conversation for more detail tomorrow. I am more than happy to discuss and answer any questions you might have. However, and he's pointing towards those of you who have taken on some of the acid damage, I can tell you fought hard tonight. And I understand how sometimes a good night's rest means thinking more clearly. I want to be sure that if you are fully agreeing to help me out with this, that you fully understand what you're coming into.
Some things you just don't talk about at night, too, as well, you know.
Especially not
Ghosts
here.
and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, ghosts don't. It's sometimes they can make for good conversation. Depends what you need them for.
Interesting observation. And you, sir, are
Just call me a wanderer for now.
Wanderer. All right, Wanderer. Are you agreeing to this, or are you thinking about?
I'm on board.
Excellent. Well, how about the other two of you? How do you feel about this possibility?
I mean, if Slane and Shrek are going, I'm going too.
I like it. Camaraderie. It's a good thing.
I'm pretty sure eventually, Slane will know his way around the forests well enough that we can find anything we really need in him anyway, so I might as well stick around too.
All right. Excellent. I will be back here before morning. I actually do need to be on the road before dawn. If you'd rather, I can meet you back here tomorrow evening again, and we can go through things. Arvid can catch you up on a few things about my family. He knows it well. And we can get things set into motion tomorrow night.
That works. Sure.
All right. Since you're agreeing to this, I'm going to make sure that you have things covered for tomorrow as well. And should you need to get any provisions, you'll be able to do so. And he's going to reach into his pocket and he pulls out this black leather sack and he plops it down in the center of the table. That's your deal for now. That's 15 gold pieces. Use it wisely. My family means a great deal to me. The protection means even more.
Seem like a right honorable fella. I'm amenable to working with you.
Thank you very much. All right. And he'll stand up and he puts his hands on the table and pushes himself up with a sigh. Unfortunately, I still have other things I need to get done this evening before I need to go. It's only a day's journey, but still I don't want to risk not having enough time and getting back to you so we can have this discussion. I will make sure that Arvid knows that anything you need, if it surpasses what I have left you, will also be covered. For now, you have earned it. Rest. Have something to eat. And enjoy your evening. And he'll bow, and he has his hand pressed up against his shoulder as he bows. And he'll just look at each of you, marketing it slowly, without saying anything further, almost as if he's registering your faces. And he'll turn on his heel, and he just walks out towards the front door again with a quick curt nod towards Arvid. And he'll open the door into the night, and you'll hear the night sounds again with the crickets and the owls and everything like that. And as he closes the door behind him, you're now left again in this tavern with the warmth of the fire filling the room. You hear Mama Raina gleefully giggling over her cake with a very serious sugar rush and a certain level of inebriation that's probably going to make for a fun combination for Maurice. And we're going to end it here tonight with the six of you just enjoying a little bit more ale and food, as Arvid and Jaleesa are happy to bring you whatever you want and then lead you up to your rooms as the night comes to a close.
All right.
Oh. Thank you very much, everyone, for a fantastic first round. I absolutely love this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around with everyone. I'd love to hear what you enjoyed most about it. Please let us know where we can find you, what it is you love to do in this fantastic tabletop community. I am going to start with Jim. I'll work my way around and back up again. So Jim.
Sure. Hey, everybody. So I am one half of WebDM, where you can come and find us on YouTube. We are chatting about all kinds of Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop RPG stuff. And you might want to check out our Patreon, where we actually just interviewed Wolfgang Bauer, who helped create this wonderful world that we're playing in, and kind of got to see how Kobold Press got started and how they do business. But yeah, I love like the forest as an adventure site, right? Like just looming trees and shadows and wicked spirits, and like your voices are amazing. Like it's just like it seems like you're just doing them off the top of your head. Like you don't even think about it. You're just like boom, right there. So yeah, I had a great time and looking forward to really diving into this. Yeah.
Yay. Happy to hear it. All right, let's move on to Kai.
Hey, I am Stonefly_Kai on Twitch, Twitter, and something else. Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. And then I'm also have a women's clothing line called Copper Cantrip. If you want to see what other streams I'm on or anything about this stream, you can catch it on Twitch. That's normally where I find it, and I'm clearly very bad at these outro things. My favorite part is learning everybody's character, learning, the voices. It was awesome. Mama was maybe my favorite overall. She was great. Oh, so good. Shrek's voice was pretty awesome. Just everything. It was really great first episode.
Awesome. All right, Jesse, you're up.
I'm Jesse Neon. I'm pretty much only on Twitter. I don't really do a lot of other social media. I'm just bad at it in general. My favorite part for sure is that first session where the characters are all kind of jockeying to meet each other. It doesn't always go smoothly, but in this one went really well, and that's really awesome. Besides that, the only thing about me is that my book is on Kickstarter right now. It's fully funded, and I'm taking pre-orders for it. If you like D&D inspired adventures about garbage wizards and terrible people trying their best, then you might like my book.
Fantastic. All right, Gnome.
Hello, my name is Gnome, and you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Gnomedic. I am actually the Kobold Press social media gnome that wears kobold skin in disguise.
So you're literally the kobold. Yeah.
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 Literally, yeah. Yeah. I had to. I had to. I am all over on the internet doing all sorts of things and shows. So you can just find me on Twitter. Everything is pretty much up on there. And I have to say, I think my favorite part of tonight is absolutely Mama Rihanna. Like, just I loved the little hiccups that you kept like kind of just tossing in there. Such a charming character. But I also really liked the interaction between those that went outside to kind of spar. I think that was really interesting, and it doesn't always happen in like a first episode with players who've never played together before. That was fantastic. So really, job well done on that, you guys. That was really cool.
Wonderful. Okay, Mike, you're up.
All right. My name is Michael Sinclair II. You can find me as Michael Crits on Twitter and Michael Crits on Instagram. As far as like D&D things go, I am finishing up a finale show with Encounter Roleplay next week, Saturday. The Ghosts of Slartmarsh, the Sirens Battle, so the finale is happening there. And then recently I did a podcast with the Insight Check podcast about D&D fitness, so that was a recent thing. So that's there. My favorite part of tonight is working with this wonderful set of cast that you see all here, all these people I followed on Twitter before, and everyone here is phenomenal. Voice acting is amazing, and also very happy that our tavern, all of us coming to the tavern was pretty organic and meshed really well together, and we were able to get through some stories and meet some characters. Phenomenal experience. I've had a good time.
Excellent. And finally, Torn Pixie.
Hey, so I'm Rhett. You can find me here on Twitch at Torn Pixie, and then on Twitter at Torn Pixie Twitch. This is basically what I do everywhere now. I either play in games, or I run games, or I do a podcast where I ask people about the things they do with their games. And so, as far as the podcast, that's RPG Unlimited, which is like every other third Friday. Yeah, Friday. I don't even remember anymore. So.
Okay, awesome. And I'm V Muse. I'm the Crafting Muse. You can find me on YouTube where I show you how to paint miniatures, make miniature terrain, as well as game accessories. I am very active over on Mini Terrain Domain as well as Acrobatics Academy, and also here on Kobold Press Twitch channels. And you can find me over at Gen Con this summer as well as Keystone as a panel speaker. So that is it for this evening, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a fantastic time starting this story with you. I am so excited for next week. I can't wait to start brewing some more of the story and getting some threads going and see where y'all go with it. So thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic night. We'll see you next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. here on the Kobold Press Twitch channel. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.